Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Creative Differences, the podcast, the musical episode.
Woo!
We're not going to sing. Demi, tell the contestants what they've won today.
Well, first we have to introduce ourselves.
What?
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Dallas.
I'm Gabby.
Gabby's returned to us. I'm Demi.
And I'm an Eleusinian mystery made manifest.
A what?
An Eleusinian mystery? Did
What's
you not
that?
take a classics class in college?
No.
You really should
We
have.
didn't
It's
have
lab.
to take a classics class.
Oh, I didn't have to. I chose to take them because the professor rocked.
In the biology department.
Yeah, that's all you.
In the biology.
All right, guys. As Dallas said, today's the musical episode, which means we're going to be talking about our favorite music artists of 2019.
Yay.
But before we get started, let me give you guys the rules one more time. Everybody's going to go through their top 10 list in order. If you call off a music artist and somebody else has it on their list higher up, we are going to wait until we get to the highest point that artist is on somebody else's list, and then we will talk about them.
For example,
Oh, Lord.
this probably won't happen, but let's say Colin has Stevie Wonder at number 9 on his list, and I have him at number 7. I would yell skip when Colin says him at 9 so we can talk about him.
You don't
when
have to
we get
yell it.
number 7. I'm going to yell it.
Please don't.
It's not going to happen. You don't have Stevie Wonder.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I'm just
wreck
saying, don't yell the skips if they come up.
Skip.
No.
Another rule to this game, because we're doing music artists, is that the music artist that is on your list must have released a song or an album or anything like that within the last year, or you had to have seen them live within the last year.
Here's the thing. We're going to say some names, and you might be compelled to say, who? In a Snoop Dogg-like fashion. First off, we're going to tell you who they are, so don't worry about it. Second, if you want to see pictures of these people, go to the YouTube episode instead of Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because Demi's putting pictures of them, because she's great. And there will be pictures of all the people we're talking about, so now you can put a face to the names that
Though
we're
really,
saying.
is that helpful when it comes to music?
What do you mean?
Sometimes.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, but really.
For
it's
you,
like,
no. Last year it was difficult finding pictures of the people on your list.
Good luck.
This kind of makes up half his list and then just
I
tells us,
do
oh, yeah,
not.
this was like music.
he puts two random words together.
Like,
And then we go,
yeah.
okay.
Number 6 is
Ooh,
Leap
about-
Glorp and the Floopty-Doos. Their
About
album
that.
was fire.
Lord from the Actually, they put out a great album this year.
Oh, man. So we should get this started. Honorary mentions. Dallas.
Honor.
What?
I was vamping until I found my thing.
Dallas
Yes.
Escobar.
Yes. It's at the bottom of that scrolling. Ha! Okay, cool.
Jesus.
Honorary mentions. Honorable mentions. I say honorable. It's fine. Lil Dicky for the song Earth because he tried to save the earth and he got literally everyone famous to help him do it.
I forgot that was that just happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Dickie.
the only thing he did this year in music.
Last year.
But it was really big.
But yeah, also he donated all the money to Earth because
Earth.
he doesn't want us to die.
Sorry, what?
Earth.
Like a specific organization, or he just threw it on the
planet.
ground?
He planted the money.
He planted.
That
all
doesn't
of
seem
it.
wise.
Dallas, the rest of your list, please.
Yes, the rest of my honorable mentions. Michael Abels for doing the score for Us and giving us the iconic version of I Got 5 on it that everyone talked about. I think that trailer came out on Christmas.
I got 5 on
And my last honorable mention is Hildur Gudnadottir because I don't usually listen to movie scores, but I listened to the Joker score all the way through because she was going off. Colin doesn't believe in honor. Gabby, what are your honorable mentions?
We established this the other day. It's too late. You said it.
Alrighty. I just have one, and it's Beyonce for The Gift.
Cool.
Cool. My honorary mentions list is Shawn Mendes, Travis Garland, Trevor Jackson, all of which released great songs this year. MKTO, who I saw live this year, and they were great.
Oh, wow, that happened.
Last year, sorry. Yes,
Lord.
that did happen. Colin was
I
with me.
completely forgot. about
Last
that.
year was a long.
It was.
AF
Holy hell.
year.
Anyway.
And then my last, I guess one, it's a duo. I believe the names are pronounced Giono Ostinelli and Sonia Belusoya, who are the composers of The Witcher, because that soundtrack slaps
Yo.
and it needs to be released.
I was gonna say,
it's
is it
fire?
No.
Toss a coin to your
What?
motherfucking witcher.
Well, okay, Gabby. Lord.
Remix! Oh, but Sonia Belusoya says that the soundtrack is ready to be released, but they're waiting on
What?
Netflix.
What?
So Netflix, where you at?
Netflix, where you what's good?
Release
Netflix,
the soundtrack.
Netflix,
Okay, all
what's
right,
good?
Okay, maybe we need to calm down.
All right, number 10. Dallas.
Sorry, I forgot to say something. Hildur Gudnadottir
Oh, God.
is the first solo woman to win a Golden Globe for Best Original Score.
She did. I
Shout
saw
out
that.
to her.
I was
All
so
right,
proud of her.
moving on.
They did not think she was gonna win because she was way in the back of the room and she had to walk for a while.
Number 10. Dallas.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Hans Zimmer, another composer, because he did Lion King again.
You're such a nerd right now.
I freaking love Lion King, and I love the music. And once I heard that Stampede song again, I almost had a panic attack in the theater. Like, oh God, no, it's gonna happen. Also, shout out to those kids that were weeping during the Mufasa scene in the 2019 Lion King. I feel for you.
Aww.
But yeah, Hans Zimmer did his thing again in a different way, slightly.
Yes.
So that was cool.
I have a similar one to that.
Because he could have just said, hey, get my old stuff from 94 and do it again. But he didn't.
Just put it in there.
Yeah, he came back
He's
to
like,
work.
you know what?
Yeah.
Let's put in this work.
He clocked back in and was like, all right, we're going to do this again.
Cracked his neck a little bit.
Yeah, so
Got him
shout
to
out to
fight
Hans.
on.
Moving on.
Colin, number 10.
Okay, my number 10. I don't need to look at my list. I changed up my number 10. My number 10 is Starbomb. Because that
See?
album is great.
Crickets.
Yeah, nobody else listens to
Do you
them
guys
because
see?
I wouldn't expect you to, and
He
that's
grabs
fine.
2 random words and he puts them together.
Star
Okay,
and Bomb.
I didn't grab those 2 words. They did, and that's the name that they chose. You don't get to say that that's the thing that I did.
Remember Sex Bomb?
Yes.
Bomb.
Oh, yes,
That's
I do.
from Scott Pilgrim?
Yes.
Okay, I'll believe it.
Okay.
You know what we
Anyway.
should do?
Would you like to... Yes.
Sorry, Colin. No, wait. I don't want to forget.
Don't put a picture of Sex Bomb as the picture. That'll
No.
That would be hilarious.
No. We should make a creative differences Mad Lib game where it's like Colin's favorite music is noun.
Hold on. now I
like-
want to see if the rest of them follow.
Like color.
Exactly.
Like,
color
none
that
of the
isn't
rest
Roy
of
G.
them
Biv.
follow
Adjective.
that pattern.
Well, I'm glad I said it now. So if I would have
Chartreuse
waited,
lion.
it wouldn't work.
All right. Colin, why are they number 10
Tell
on
us
your
about the
list?
Starbomb.
Ew, what is chartreuse? It's like purple.
Chartreuse is a green.
Yeah, that sounds disgusting.
It's
Anyway,
not, it's a
it
Hey,
just sounds
can-
like
can-
a disease.
can Colin
Ooh,
please
I
that
caught the
shade of-
chartreuse.
I want to hear
that
about...
shade of green.
I want to hear
Yeah,
about this
that's
made-up
ugly.
band that
Look at
Colin's
it.
telling us about.
It's
All
okay.
right, let's see
Is
how
it-
quickly Colin can piece together this
You
fake band.
absolute mother. Why am I even? Just
We love you.
Go on to Gabby. I don't give a shit.
We love you. Tell us about
Colin,
No,
I
no,
wanna-
no. Go on.
Colin,
Go on to
I
Gabby.
I want to hear what
no,
kind of music
no,
they make.
it's fine. Go on to Gabby. What's
In
your
all
number
seriousness,
10?
I think you should talk about them because
Nah, it's
there's
fine.
someone
People
out
know
there
about
who
them.
listens
Nah,
to them
it's
and they're like,
fine.
oh my God, Starbomb's getting shout
Cool,
out.
but they already know who they are, so they don't need me to talk about it. Gabby, what's your number 10?
you to.
No, I want
Gabby,
it.
what's
They're
your number
listening
10?
for
Colin,
Starbomb.
we're- Colin,
Gabby.
Aw, this
Colin.
is why we don't clown.
What is your
Colin.
number 10?
Colin, we're trying to figure
Gabby.
out... Colin, tell us
Gabby,
about them.
you can look them up.
No.
Gabby,
I don't want to.
they have a
Gabby.
You
Wikipedia
haven't
article.
told me anything about them.
I
Look them up.
actually have a wicked. No.
I mean, I assume, I don't know.
Anymore. Sorry.
Gabby,
Low-hanging
number 10.
fruit. My number 10 is Randall Park.
Hey.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
Should we skip or?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Of
Thank
course not.
goodness. Okay, so earlier in 2019, around May. Sorry, I'm
She's
really
dancing
excited
around
right
it. You
now.
guys can't see it.
Sorry. In May, 2019, this movie came out called "Always Be My Maybe," and Randall Park raps in it. And then he put out 3 songs, and they were amazing.
He put out
and then
3 songs?
Yeah,
Oh,
as
snap.
part of the And then he was in this cipher, and it was amazing.
The housewarming cipher.
Yeah, the housewarming cipher. So basically, Randall Park is my number 10. He's extremely talented in the rap department, apparently, and I adore him. So he's my number 10.
He's dope, and that cipher was fantastic.
It was.
It was.
And
It
so was the
really
credit song for Always Be My Maybe.
It was. Dude, the punch Keanu Reeves. And then the 2 songs in the
Yes.
movie are great, too.
Dope.
Moving on.
Jimmy.
My number 10 is the cast of Descendants 3, specifically Dove Cameron and Sarah Jeffrey.
Did that come out last year?
This has
I just
been
kind of
August,
assumed Descendants was like
longest.
over 5 years ago or something.
August
12
2019,
months.
because it was
Oh.
shortly after Cameron Boyce passed away.
You know? Ah,
Rest in peace.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, it's just a fantastic soundtrack. I really like the Descendants movies. Don't know why. Their soundtracks are always really, really good.
Yeah,
It's
you and
because
Dallas's
they're
niece,
delightful
you
and
should
they
hang
have a
out.
rich mythology.
But yeah, no, I specifically point out Dove Cameron and Sarah Jeffrey, though, because Sarah Jeffrey did Queen of Mean, which was the unexpected hit of Descendants 3. And it didn't need to go as hard as it did. They didn't need to make a remix that went as hard as it did either.
Is she the evil queen daughter?
Yes.
Oh,
No. That's Dove Cameron.
No, she's the Maleficent daughter.
Yeah, she's Maleficent's daughter. Sarah Jeffrey plays Sleeping Beauty's daughter.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Evil Queen daughter is.
Oh, that's Sophia Carson.
it's
Yeah,
the composer
that's-
of the Joker score.
Shut up.
Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, Queen of Mean was just super dope. Dove Cameron did My Once Upon a Time, which is also a standout on the soundtrack for me. But also, Dove released solo music outside of Descendants shortly after that movie came out. She released 4 songs, Bloodshot, Waste, So Good, and Out of Touch, all of which are really good, and they just get better and better as she was releasing stuff. So, I'm going to give 3 standout songs for every single artist I mentioned. So the standouts for this are Queen of Mean, My Once Upon a Time, and Break This Down, which is, Break This Down is like the entire freaking cast, and that's a lot of people. I'm not going to name them all off, but they're really great. Number 9, Dallas.
Number 9 is Will Smith.
Skip. Kind
ooh,
of.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
yes. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can skip.
Skip.
I get it. I know what you're doing.
Somebody
Colin.
does, because
I know
I sure as fuck don't.
Number 9.
Oh, I know what they're doing too.
Okay. My number 9 is Bastille.
I love Bastille.
I do too. And they released an album this year, and then they made it longer, and it was better. Because, yeah, I love them a lot. I've loved their first 2 albums a lot. And this one I like not as much, because I think it hits its message a little too hard. Every song is about the same thing, and it's like, okay, calm down. But then they released the longer version, and there are songs that aren't about that, and it's just great. And the lead singer's voice is real pretty, and I like their music a lot.
I really like his voice. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, he's great. Anyway, yeah, that's my number 9.
Bastille. Pompeii still slaps. Okay, so my number 9 is J Balvin for a really dumb reason. And the reason is this. There was a viral video in Latin America that came out, I think, last year or in 2018. I can't remember. And the video was basically this dude in Latin America called the radio station. He was like, yeah, so can you play this song that I really, really like? And they were like, what's the name of the song? He's like, I don't know the name of the song, but one of the lyrics is Esos son Reebok o son Nike, which translates in Spanish. Have you seen this video? Yeah. Which translates to, are those Reeboks or are they Nike shoes? Because in Latin America, they say Nike, they say Nike. And the dude at the radio station was confused, and he was like, could it be this? And then the song, This Is the Rhythm of the Night, plays. And so J Balvin took This Is the Rhythm of the Night and got with the Black Eyed Peas and made like sampled the song, made a song, and then referenced the viral video by putting Reebok and Nike throughout.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I couldn't handle it. So that's why J Balvin's on this list, because I know what you did, Jay. We all know what you did, and it's hilarious, and I really, really respect you for it.
That's delightful.
So, yeah. I'll show you guys the video later. It's ridiculous. So that's my number 9, J Balvin.
So my number 9 is Himesh Patel. I'm so glad I got to put him on something, put him on a list, because he was on my actors list, and I'm glad I didn't have to take him off my music list. I am not a Beatles fan, but I love every rendition of their music that he did in the movie yesterday. He has a wonderful voice, and I really want to hear more of him singing. Like, I'd love for him to release like his own music, whatever he decides to do, because he's a really good singer. My standouts from that soundtrack are Help, Back in the USSR, and Here Comes the Sun.
Oh, that's a good song.
Dallas, number 8.
Now I feel like I should have done the standout thing, but I didn't. My number 8.
Above the crowd, hearing if I gotta shout out loud.
Beyonce.
Hey.
Number 8 is Beyonce for The Lion King, The Gift. Because she did for Lion King what Kendrick did for Black Panther in 2018, differently, because she's not a rapper. You make a Lion King album, you get a spot on my list. Yeah, that's pretty... No, wait. She had Kendrick on the album. She also had Childish Gambino on the album. So that was dope.
Yeah, I mean,
and
she
Jay-Z.
had to have.
Yeah. She was stacking that album. And, like, every song is followed by a clip from the movie. So it's like watching Lion King again. It was great.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's a long album in terms of track listing. Anyway, moving on. Colin.
Me.
You.
My number 8 is, I guess it's TWRP. They've also been referred to by a couple different names, so I can never tell how to say it. But point is, I like them a lot. I guess the closest comparison I can make is they kind of sound like Daft Punk, except higher energy, because Daft Punk has a lot of like chill beats and less repetition. Daft Punk will have like one phrase for the entire song, and it's that's fine, but
harder, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah, exactly, for the entire song. But like TWRP does more than that, and I like it a lot. And they're also like, there's something really nice about how earnest some of their messaging is. Like, they have multiple songs that are just like, body positivity is good and you should love your body, and it's like, okay, yeah, I respect that. Also, they do the Daft Punk thing where they all like wear costumes when they perform, which is really cool. So like, people don't know what they look like, and that's fun too.
Sounds dope.
Yeah.
I like that. Me? Okay, so my number 7 is Lana Del Rey. She put out an album this year called Norman effing Rockwell, and I dig Lana Del Rey, and I dug the album, and that's why she's my number 7.
Yo, She made a cover of Season of the Witch that plays in the credits for Scary Stories to Tell of the Dark. And it is amazing. Like,
is it really dreamy?
Yes.
I mean,
It
that's
fits
why I like
perfectly.
her. It's the dreamy vibes. And also
Yeah.
the like retro now vibes.
Retro now vibe.
Like, I don't want to go back to the 50s, but I do want to wear that clothes right now, if that makes any sense.
Also,
and she does that.
What number is she on your list?
7.
We're on 8.
Whoops. Well, I'll do my number 8 when we come back.
Cool. So about Lana.
Yeah. Sorry, I got
Interesting.
excited. I was like, she's next.
Yeah, I heard that song in the credits and I was like, what is this? Brought my phone out, Shazammed it, and then I played that song from August to October nonstop until Halloween was over.
I want to say that
Nice.
song was used in the trailer for Maleficent.
Okay, I was
It's a
wondering that
different
too,
cover.
but apparently they're different covers.
It's a different person
Oh.
singing that song. But
Because
it's
I've
also
never
Season of the
heard
Witch.
the Lana Del Rey version,
Yeah.
but I've heard the Maleficent one. I just assumed that's the one that you meant until you told me it wasn't.
Yeah, because
that's also the
Lana's
one.
is very like, Lana-ish. The Maleficent one is very like power, like Season of the Witch, we
okay.
fighting.
Yeah. Season of the Witch we fight.
But yeah, that song slaps. Shout out to Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
So number 8, Demi.
Thank you for reminding me.
problem.
To me.
Yeah, so my number 8 is David Diggs and Rafael Casal.
Hey, Skip.
Yes.
I knew it was going to happen. Dallas, number 7.
David Diggs.
It's okay. What?
I hate when you do that.
This is the second time that this has happened to us.
Yeah, but you like
specifically.
laugh
You're very-
hysterically
Oh,
every
that's
time
true.
you do it. You're like, mwahaha. You
Because
just
it's
do a
so
little
perfect.
thing.
You did this with Shazam like 3 days ago, and here we are
Oh,
again.
Yeah.
It's just, I love it.
It's okay, great. I can still talk about it now.
Woo.
Of course. So,
They're literally only number 8 on my list because this album is so short.
yeah, 7 Nights in Chicago is
Like
short.
7
I
songs.
think it is 7 songs, one for each night in Chicago.
Aw.
But it's dope. Like my notes are just they rap really well. Like,
Right, yeah, I
they're
was like,
really good
His
at rapping.
notes are
Literally-
actually just, it's dope, like just over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's dope. It's dope.
It's
It's
dope,
dope.
it's dope,
7
it's dope.
times. One for each song.
Yeah, David and Rafa are just like, they never disappoint. Lyrics and music are always on point. Lyrics are always really thoughtful and creative. I was
They got good puns.
one of my
man.
favorite lyrics is when Raphael goes, "What is an artist if not at his best, at his darkest?" And I was just like, "Ooh,
That's trash.
It's true, though.
That opinion is trash. No, it's bad.
Okay, pues.
We'll get to that later.
Colin, shut up."
But
That
Anyway.
opinion is trash.
But yeah, also David released another album, not
clipping?
just with clipping,
That's
not
true.
just 7 Nights in Chicago. They released an album called "There Existed an Addiction to Blood," which
Yes.
is also a pretty good album. I'm not very much into hip hop. I'm also not very much into industrial hip hop.
yeah,
Oh,
But
what?
industrial hip hop, it's a experimental form of hip hop.
it's weird sounding.
It's but like that album's pretty dope.
It's funny. I am very much into hip hop. I am not very much into clipping because as much as I love David as a rapper, I can't really get into like that level of experimental. Like
Yeah,
it's alarming.
there's one song on that album where literally it ends where it just sounds like it's like static.
I remember that, and I was like, all right, that's
I
enough.
was upstairs in booth just like, oh, my ears.
Yeah, I couldn't. I
but
was like, come on,
I do really
clipping.
like the actual song. There Existed an Addiction to Blood.
gotcha.
That's a really great song. I also like that video because it is an even more extreme version
It's
of
a
This Is
lot.
America.
It's so much.
But yeah, my standouts for 7 Nights in Chicago are Microdosing, which is my favorite song, and also features, I think, one of the actors from Legacies, which is one of my favorite shows, Program and Breath.
I also love Program. Wait, is Program the one where?
That's the one where they just go really, 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 really fast.
Yes, and that's the one with the actress from Umbrella Academy, right?
No, she's
Dang,
on,
what is she on?
No Feels.
Okay, I don't know who the singer is on Program, but she's dope.
Is
I'm
there a
gonna look
singer
that
on
up.
Program?
Yeah, she's saying Program. She sings the hook to the song.
Hold on.
I can't sing it because that may or may not be copyright infringement.
It's too late. We've already done some singing on here. Now
Um,
you're going to have me looking at my phone to check.
it's okay. You can check that while I talk about.
I already got it. Oh, yeah, there are singers on that. There are 2 singers on that. I
Oh.
forgot. Matthew Santos is also on that
Oh, I love Matthew Santos, and he's all through this
album. Yeah.
7-song album.
He is not the singer on Microdosing, though. That is Chris Lee, and he's great.
Micro dope. Copyright. But yeah, Program is dope, and I love the way Rafa goes in at the end,
Yeah.
and then W just like,
Yeah.
no,
No,
stop.
stop.
They get it. It's okay.
I think they get
and then
it.
Rafa is just so exasperated.
Yeah, he's-
How many more times we gotta
Gotta
do
do
this?
this.
We're so much better
I get
than
it.
everybody.
I think they get it.
I love them together.
What song is that? I need to listen
Program.
Program.
You need to listen to the whole album.
I know.
It takes 20
haven't.
minutes to listen to that entire album.
I know.
Literally.
I have to be. I really. Do you know how I listen to albums? I like lie on my bed, I close my eyes, and I listen. And I can't
Cool, so just do that for
with
20 minutes.
everything. No, I have to be in the right space.
That's
like,
fair. Yeah,
I
I'm the
can't
same
just
way
do
with
that.
like I don't
Oh, man.
close my eyes and
It's 20
do all
minutes.
that.
No,
But like I do have to be in the right space for certain albums. But also, yeah, David was in that cipher that Gabby talked about
And
earlier.
so was Rafael Casal, because
Yes.
Rafael Casal was also on my number 8.
Yes.
Not just David.
And
I think it was Rafa's housewarming.
I think it was. It was one of
Yeah.
theirs. I think it was
I
Rafa.
think it was his housewarming.
But yes, David was number 6 on my list last year, and now he's 7, so he's moving up. Although ironically, I
Up,
did like
Down,
He went
up,
down.
Up,
he's
down.
moving. I don't. However you
He
Yeah,
moved.
like up in.
he moved,
Yeah.
but
He's staying
which is
on
very
the list.
ironic because I like his album from 2018 a lot more, the Blind Spotting one,
Oh,
like the Colin EP,
yeah.
because that was fire in a different way.
That was so good.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fire in character. This is just fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on. Wait, yes, Colin,
Number 7. Because we shared it, even though we didn't share it.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's the thing that you did. My number 7 is, I guess you pronounce it the Menzingers? I don't know how to pronounce it. But like,
Demi's face is like, this is fake.
it's not. God damn. You know what? Fuck it.
No, I love you.
Nope.
I
Moving
didn't say
on.
anything.
Number, Gabby,
No,
number 8.
Just say it.
Nope.
Come on.
Gabby, number 8.
Why?
Because
For
it is
you.
technically her number 8. What? Wait, no. What
Go
is
for
it,
number
though?
8. Never mind.
No,
Doesn't matter.
Colin,
Moving
what-
on.
what is
No,
it?
moving
Damn
on.
it.
Moving
Okay,
on.
I'm never going to comment on this again.
Gabby, number 8.
Damn it.
Oh, man.
Okay, my number 8 is Bad Bunny because he's awesome and really good at rapping in Spanish. And he also, he does this thing where he references reggaeton songs from like when we were children, which I haven't really noticed anybody else doing. And I love it because I'm like, oh my God, we listen to the same music. Which like, duh, but it's just nice to see it referenced. So that's why I chose Bad Bunny. He put out an album this year. It was really good.
Very concise. I dig it.
That was your number 8, right?
Yeah, but you're gonna do your number 7.
Yeah, I'm doing my number 7. I'm just making sure you went to 8 and not
Yes,
6.
I did.
Cool. My number 7 is Cassidy Pope, who is probably the only country artist you will find on my list ever.
I forgot she moved to country, and I'm sad about it because I liked when she was doing like the pop punk stuff.
You know what?
I
this
never listened
new
to her
album-
solo stuff, but Hey Monday slapped.
Hey Monday was great.
Yeah.
Her album came out in like February. I didn't know it released until like August because apparently she's gone indie and is no longer with a record label.
Ooh.
So like she always releases good music though, whether it's country or it's power pop or punk rock, whatever you want to call it, whatever her genre. She's always really good at it. I really like her voice. It's been several years since her last album, so like I was super stoked that this one came out. Like the last time she released a song, I was living in Monterey, and I was like, "Oh, this song is so good. When is she gonna release more stuff?" And then didn't know that she released an album a year later, but it was super good. The moment I found out, I was like, "Oh, I gotta listen to this," and then I listened to it, and I was like, "Oh, on my list. Cassidy's going on my list, man." I love her so much. She's so good. And this album feels more like a meeting between country and the power pop that we were used to her doing with Hey Monday, which I really like. So my standouts are, this is really hard because I had 4 songs that I really liked, but I cut it to 3. One More Red Light, How I Feel Right Now, and Distraction. And Distraction is way too pop for her to have made it a pop single, unfortunately, because she's a country star, and it makes me sad because Distraction I could listen to on repeat. I love that song so much. But yeah, Cassidy Pope, my number 7. She's dope. Dallas, number 6.
That rhymed. Cassidy Pope, number 7. She's dope.
Hey,
Look
dog.
at you spitting bars on the mic. My number 6 was my number 5 from last year, Rafael Casal. So this happened again last year. No, 2018. Listeners, just rewind to when we talked about David and Rafa because it's pretty much the same. But also, the singer on program is named Adrienne Warren. So shout out to her. And Rafa put out another song called Oxygen, like at the beginning of 2019.
Oh, that was a good
So
song.
far gone, like long ago that I forgot about it until 7 Nights came out. And that's why I can justify splitting them up because they have slightly different music.
I mean, yeah, I mentioned that David had a whole different album that has nothing to do with Rafael Casal.
Yes. And it was terrifying.
But are we sure that Raph didn't like help produce it or something?
No, I'm
Like,
pretty
those
sure
two are
I went to
connected
look
the
up.
hip,
Because he's not involved with clipping.
Yeah, clipping is a separate
Okay.
endeavor.
Okay. Got it.
But
I think he occasionally does songs with them, but I don't think he had anything to do with this album.
Got it.
yeah,
got it,
like
got it.
for the last 2 years, 2019, 2018, they've both been in my top 10, and it's
Same.
gotten to the point where I'm like, how do I pick which one I put higher? And then Rafa just
He's just so good.
he just like raps in a way I like more on at least one song every year.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the program when he was going,
we're so opposite because I always pick David as
Yeah.
the one if I had to choose one,
Mhm.
David would be the one that I choose.
yeah,
But like I always put them together because, well, in this situation it was they put out
Right, they
a
put out the same
project
album.
together that was them together.
Yeah.
And David just happened to have a different project, so I
Mhm.
was like, nah, I'm not gonna split you.
yeah. I think last year it was easier to split them because they each put out an EP for their character in Blind Spotting. Sorry,
Yes.
2 years ago.
And they had
Technically.
different vibes for each of those.
Very different
Yep.
vibes. And I
Mhm.
was rocking.
That
to
was
both of
last
them.
year though. That was last year's list.
Yeah, what you said. All right. That's my number 6, which was my number 5 last year. Colin, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Hobo Johnson.
I
He's so
Because,
talented.
Man, that second
Really?
album feels so much better than the first one.
Oh man, I really wanted him to be on my
I
list.
just I like the first one, don't get me wrong, but the first one feels like you had stuff you wanted to say, so you said it, and then you put music behind it so you could call it an album. This one feels like, now we're making an album, so it's going to be full of songs that still have something to say. Like, all the songs are still about being sad, but like, I don't know, just musically, it just works so much better for me than the first one, and it's just, whew, this album is so good, and it makes me so happy. Like, all of it just slaps, except for one song that is really weird near the end that I don't like as much, but
Which one is that?
Is it the
Sorry My
super-
Dear
Oh.
is the one where it gets like really
I don't remember
like
that.
auto-tuned or weird. Like the
Huh.
entire song is very strange, but the rest of the album, I love it. It's so good.
I was so excited. Like, if there was a most anticipated list for 2019 albums, his would have been on it. And I just feel exactly the opposite of Colin in regards to those two albums, because I really love the Rise of Hobo Johnson that came out, I think 2018, 2017,
I'm not sure.
one of those years. And then The Fall came out, and it's like Colin said, kind of you're gonna signal 2017. Thank you, Gabby. It's like Colin said, the first one is like you had a lot to say, you put music behind it, and I was rocking with that because it's super weird. And if you can get behind that, you can get behind it. Like Pete Scone is him yelling in a backyard for 3 minutes. And I was like, I don't know why I like this, but I do. And then this one, I felt like there are definitely songs like Typical Story.
Mm-hmm.
I rock with that song.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, this is like, you're making music. But then a lot of the songs, I'm like, you're making music, but I don't like it as much.
Aw.
But I still wish him.
Do still wish
What did I say? Did
still
Did
you got there.
Mm.
We got what you were going.
Thank you.
Language is hard, man.
Life is hard. Talking is hard. English is hard. Hobo Johnson, you're dope. Keep making music. I'll get you on the next album.
Gabby, number 6.
My number 6 is the Marias, who I saw live at Tropicalia this year, and it was amazing. Oh my god. They call themselves psychedelic pop, which, yes, it is. It's very like dreamy, and it gets like they have like a live trumpet player who comes in and out on stage, which is great. And my favorite part of the Marias is the lead singer. They get the name from their lead singer, whose name is Maria. But she's like the only actual Maria, and then the rest of the people are just dudes. And she dressed them all, or I'm sure they agreed to this, but they were all dressed in like white turtlenecks, and then she was dressed in like a really cool like outfit. And I was like, how come they got turtlenecks and you get to look cool? But it was great. I loved it so much. And then what I like about this band is they'll have entire songs in English and entire songs in Spanish. And even though I can tell like some of the people on the band don't speak Spanish, they'll still like sing along with her, which I like because it's like, music is universal. And then I just like how dreamy and wonderful their music is. And they were really, really great live. They have a cover to Baby One More Time that I thought it was great. My number 6.
Dope.
Moving on.
Cool. My number 6 is the Jonas Brothers.
Skip.
I knew it. Dallas, number 5.
Oh my lord, we made it to the top 5.
Yes, we did top 5.
Top 5.
Woo! Wow, wow, wow.
My number 5 is The Lonely Island.
Wait, did they put out an album this year?
Technically, that weird Netflix thing they did
Oh my
had
god,
an
that
album.
was
Yes.
so weird and so great.
Oh my god.
Oh, those
So-
Oakland nights, man.
Yes. at some point this last year, I was just scrolling through Netflix and I see something called the Unauthorized Bash Brothers Experience. I was born in 1992. So when I hear Bash Brothers, I think of the Mighty Ducks. But I
Me
see
too.
Andy Samberg and Akiva from The Lonely Island dressed in baseball uniforms. And I'm like, what is going on?
The Oakland A's.
Yes, Oakland A's baseball uniforms. And I watched the trailer and I was even more confused. So then I watched it and I was even more confused. But it's I guess you would call it a visual album.
Yay, visual albums are rock.
It's
Dude.
basically like a musical
Seen this.
about two baseball players, Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire,
Mark McGuire.
who were very famous in the 80s
Yep.
for playing baseball very well and doing a lot of steroids. It is the dumbest thing I watched in 2019. But the music is amazing. The Lonely Island has always been one of my favorite groups because they're stupid and they're really funny, but they can actually rap.
Yeah, they can.
Very well.
They're really
like
good.
if they wanted to be rappers, they could definitely do that.
I mean, they are rappers.
right? But like if they wanted to take it seriously,
Like, they could
they
be
had
like
they
Lil
got
Dicky.
a shot.
Like,
Yeah. But it was such a delightful surprise. Some of the songs absolutely slap.
those
I'm going
Oakland
to
Nights, man.
steal Demi's idea and do standouts. My standouts are Jose and Mark and Let's Bash. Jose and Mark is the first song on the album.
It's amazing.
And I have to risk the copyright strike because this whole thing starts with a newscaster talking to Andy Samberg dressed in a baseball uniform. And he's saying, hey, I know everybody already knows who you are, but why don't you give the people an introduction? And the song starts with, they call me Jose. And he holds that note for like a minute.
It's a great.
And then Akiva says, and I'm Mark.
It's so good.
And I was like, oh my God, this is whitewashing. But like, he's not in brown face. He's
No.
not dressed in these. He's just him in a baseball uniform.
Saying his name is
just
referring
Jose.
to himself as Jose Canseco.
It's just whitewashing.
It's just, and I was like, I don't know how comfortable to be with this. And then all of those worries went away when I saw Jose Canseco on stage with them
Yep.
when they performed the songs in concert. And I
Yep.
was like, well, he's fine with it.
Yep.
Why would I be mad at it?
Also, I couldn't be mad at them because they're from the Bay Area.
Yeah, like
this is their.
these are their heroes. Like they grew up watching
Yes.
these dudes. Like if you're gonna pay tribute to Jose Canseco and you are the Lonely Island,
Yeah.
one of y'all is gonna have to play him. You're
And it's
three
just-
Jewish dudes.
And it was just like such a specific thing, and the
Yeah.
Oakland A's loved it too. They would play the songs.
Yeah, they would play
at their
the songs
games.
during the, like they have a song called Oakland Nights, which let's talk about that song. The music video. First off, the song features Sia.
Oh,
It does.
Okay.
And it also, I wish I could remember all of the actors and actresses who make cameos in this thing.
There's so many, but Maya Rudolph is in it.
Maya Rudolph's in it.
in Oakland Nights.
Okay, and I think Jenny Slate is in Oakland Nights. Or she's
Yes,
in,
yes, Jenny Slate is.
So it's those two trying to court these two businesswomen, and they bring them back.
Oh, it's so 80s.
No, Maya Rudolph is in IHOP parking lot. Sorry, and they bring them back, and you know they're spitting their game or whatever, and then the Sia hook comes on. Sia is played by Sterling K. Brown. In the credits for this thing, it says Sterling K. Brown as Sia. He comes out in silk pajamas and a wig,
The wig.
designed to look like Sia and just lip syncs all of her lyrics. And it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so ridiculous. And I was just like, what am I watching? And I made Kayla watch it with me. And I think she hates me for it.
I think I've seen
Hannah-
pieces of
yeah,
this.
Hannah's
Yeah.
phone.
And it's just like they got Sterling K. Brown to play Sia in a Netflix special. Like they win. The last thing I want to say is about the song Let's Bash. There's this thing that rappers do, especially in battle rap, called scheming. And that's when they will use one concept for like a whole verse. It's hard to think of an example, but it's what Andy does at the end of Let's Bash when he just uses all of the baseball teams as he like tells a story. And like as he's saying it, he has all of the logos pop up on the screen
Yeah.
behind him. And then the last line is, if you didn't know by now, I'm naming baseball teams. And I'm just like, this is so ridiculous. I love it.
I remember that. It was amazing.
They are a treat, and I hope they never stop making music.
I forgot that had just happened. Like that was last year was so long.
It was so dumb. I watched it again. I was like, I have to watch it again to understand it.
I feel like
It was so weird.
listeners at home, you guys should have been having a drinking game of how many times we say last year was a long year.
Yeah. Like over the course of these recaps, we've
But
said that.
zips, because like
So
if
many
you take shots, you will die.
We've said it so many times.
But yeah, Lonely Island, number 5. They're hilarious.
Oh, and number 5.
All right, my number 5. Let me pull up my list. Oh yeah, is Hozier, because his
Ooh.
music is pretty. I've never listened to his first album, the one that Take Me to Church is on. I've never felt compelled to, but this one,
There has only been one song that I've really listened to by him, and it's "Better Love" from the Tarzan movie.
don't know that I've heard that one.
Oh wow.
It's beautiful.
His voice is beautiful, and like his music is really pretty, and also his lyrics are really like you can tell that he puts a lot of thought into all of his lyrics in a way that like a lot of artists I'm sure do, but some artists like you can tell exactly what they're saying with their lyrics. I have no idea what any of his lyrics mean, and it's great.
You know what? I lied. I watched a music video that he did because Katie McGraw's in it.
Of course you did. That sounds like you.
Natalie Dormer is in another one, and I think I watched that one too.
That sounds like you. Okay. Hojier's great, and Wasteland Baby is a really, really good album that I would highly recommend.
Gabby, number 5.
My number 5 is a Mexican band called Zoe, which I also saw at Tropicalia this year. And they are so cool, you guys. That's mostly why they're so high on my list. They were just, how do I explain how amazing they were? It's like, they're just like, it's hard to explain. But they're like a 90s band that's really big in Latin America, especially if you listen to a lot of Spanish alternative like I do. And they put out an album in like 2018, but they were mostly playing their hits. And I was just like in love the whole time. They're really great live. I thought that like, actually a lot of the artists that I saw at Tropicalia were amazing live. I thought that, or like rock, like they don't have the strongest of voices, right? It's more like the band's sound and everything, I feel like. So I was like, I don't know how good he's going to sound live, but he sounded exactly like he did on the record. I was like, wow, this is truly, truly amazing. And my favorite song of his, or theirs, is... Let me find it because I don't want to say the wrong name. It's Arroyo de Estrellas, which is which translates to
Something about a star.
it's like star lullaby or something like that. Arroyo means like going to sleep, or like it's hard to translate.
She can't even translate it into English.
Colin, wasn't Star Lullaby number 10 on your list?
Y'all are rude. Wait, y'all.
Who
I'm
is
rude.
y'all?
I'm rude.
You were the main one.
I know. I'm feeling really guilty about it. It's really hard for me to describe like what I like about bands that like are in Spanish, because it's really difficult.
Say it in Spanish.
Well, no.
You can't do it in
No,
Spanish
I can't
either,
even do it in
apparently.
Spanish. Like, it's just hard for me. But like, you know what I've noticed is apparently I just really like dreamy music, because they're also
I was
super
gonna say
dreamy.
that's come up at least twice. So like,
This is the third time it's come up, and they're like really dreamy. And I picked the song that was like, Lullaby of Stars, and it's like, if you ever watch a movie when like everything slows or like, let's say there's like a dance floor and the girl and the dude like lock eyes from far away, and this like song comes on that's just like, feelings. Like, that's kind of Zoe. That's what would play in the background. Like, I could put on like a scene from like 10 Things I Hate About You or something, when people lock eyes, and then just
like
play
a
it
Don
on
Hughes
mute.
movie.
Kind of, but it's not 80s synth. I'll play some for you later.
Okay,
but
cool.
you could put it in like the background of one of those scenes and it would work. Is kind of Zoe's sound. And I just really like them, man. And they were so great live. Like, I didn't think they were going to be that good. And he really is a rock star. He was just like rocking out and like walking out in the crowd, and everyone's going nuts. And then he was like he threw out a bunch of like signed stuff just into the crowd. And I was like, wow, like this dude's like so cool. And yeah, that's why he's so high up on my list. or they're high up on my list, but there's like one lead singer.
All right, my number 5 is Alan Menken and the cast of Aladdin.
Let's talk about it.
That soundtrack slaps.
Yes.
As
and that's
we've
why Will
discussed.
Smith was on my list.
Yeah, this actually they were number 3 on my list for a very, very long time.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's fair. It's a fire soundtrack.
it's a fight, man. Some of the songs even improved from like the original, like Arabian Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Arabian Nights is so much better. And
Yeah.
then there's that
And
part.
sing it. There's
in,
no racism.
There's that part in Prince Ali that hits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. When that, like, we waiting for you. And then boom. It's so hard.
It hits. Also, kind of like what you were saying about Hans Zimmer, I feel the same way about what Alan Menken did with the score for this movie.
Yeah.
And not just the score, but even the music for the songs that have lyrics. It feels like it's more filled out. There are more instruments. There are more things to hear. It just feels fuller for some reason when you're listening to it. Also, the Harvest Dance score is beautiful, and I love it. The soundtrack slaps.
Yeah,
It's
like
amazing.
the songs, and this is why Will was on my list. The songs were so good that I wanted to go see this movie again just to hear the songs on movie theater speakers. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I need to hear Prince Ali again with those speakers. I got to go see the movie again.
I would walk past it like upstairs at work and just be like, oh, here it is.
Oh, yeah. I definitely dip into the back of the theater like, oh, wait, Prince Ali is playing.
And I mentioned it before. I used to dance when the remix to A Friend Like Me was playing when I was like exit greeting theaters. Like,
Same.
bruh. I think Speechless is a great addition to that soundtrack of already great songs.
Dope song.
Desert Moon would have also been a fantastic addition. Oh my gosh. They released Desert Moon like when the Blu-ray came out.
Ah.
It was the other song that they wrote for Aladdin and Jasmine to sing. It's when she's waiting for him to show up that night and he's out in the desert with Jafar.
That makes sense. Desert
So
Moon.
yeah, it's the song that she plays on the whatever instrument
sitar.
is in his whatever instrument's in his little apartment thing that she plays on it.
Makes sense.
So it makes sense that it would come back as an actual song. But yeah, it's called Desert Moon. It's really sweet. But my standouts from that soundtrack are Arabian Nights, Speechless, and Friend Like Me.
Fair. Mine are everything with Will Smith.
Yeah. But also, like, I'm just so proud because, well, I mean, Will Smith is probably like one of my favorite rappers of all time. Definitely top 5.
Nice.
And Naomi Scott, I just love Naomi Scott. I've been listening to her music for years. So just as soon as they announced that she was playing Princess Jasmine, I was like, if y'all don't write her a solo song, that's not
And they
fair.
did.
And
Thank
they did.
God they did. They wrote her an extra duet, which is now released, and I can listen to it whenever I want to. It's great. And she sings A Whole New World so well. And Mina kind of sounds like the original Aladdin singing voice,
Yeah.
which is weird, but he does.
It was, I remember when the trailer came out, or whichever thing had A Whole New World
Yeah.
playing, I was like, are they playing the old song? Like,
I remember,
thought
I
they
think
were
you asked,
playing.
and I was like, no, that's
I was like, I know they're not because that would be weird.
no,
But
you
it
didn't
sounded
ask.
like they were.
I saw it on the internet a lot. A lot of people were like, is this just the music from the original? And I was
Right.
like, no, because that's definitely Naomi singing because I
Yeah.
know her voice very well. Because, by the way, check out her solo music. It's really great. But I know her voice very well, so I know that's
Right.
her singing. But Mina just sounds like the original movie for some weird reason.
Yeah, that's probably why they cast him. They're like, yo, you sound like Aladdin. Here's some money.
Give
Some money. Let me just throw this stack of cash at you.
It took us forever to find you, but we did. So
Aw,
here you
they
go.
did.
But yeah,
Um,
that is my number 5.
one unrelated thing I was going to say about Will Smith before you skip me.
Oh, yeah.
No hard feelings.
Sorry.
He was on a song called Don't Be Afraid to Be Different, which is on Logic's album.
Oh,
Logic was number 10 on my list for 2018. He wasn't on my list this year because the album didn't hit like it did before. His other ones. Not important. But Will is on the album.
oh wait. No,
What's
I'm
up?
thinking of something. No, continue though.
Okay. You like gave it
No. After.
Okay, cool. And the song starts, and I was like, featuring Will Smith. What? He's rapping like just out in the open. Like
Yeah.
I thought he was only rapping on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Aw.
And Will starts the verse with "In West Philadelphia, born and raised," and I was like, oh my god, I have to put this somewhere on my list. And I'm glad he did.
Yeah. No. Was the YouTube rap the quote unquote freestyle that he did when he was just messing around in the studio? Was that last year too? Cause
That is a good question.
that was fire.
That was dope, and
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know when it happened.
Oh my gosh.
I
Because
love-
he has a lyric about directors make movies. I make directors.
I love that line.
And I was like, oh my
All his
god.
lines in that, I was like, yo, you are going off right now. Like,
There was one about
where's your album at?
oh man.
Right?
There was something about like a whole bunch of summers, like there are not enough summers in your life for the amount of box office hits that he's had or something like that.
You said everybody's trying to do Will Smith numbers. I don't think your life got that many summers.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. Oh my
damn.
gosh, Will Smith was hitting on that one.
He was.
I think that
and
was
unfortunately came
2018.
out in May of 2018.
Oh man,
But it
bro!
was
Even
fire.
though listen, he's still on the list. If y'all haven't heard that, you guys should just go look that up on his YouTube channel because oh my gosh,
It's really
the lyrics
good.
were fire.
Mhm.
Also, in 2019, he made a video where he was rapping and Jazzy Jeff was in the background doing the music.
Yeah.
So that counts for this.
Also,
last
but there
year.
was the y'all households, what y'all learned today. My household, what y'all earned
Oh,
today.
yeah.
I was
My
like,
dinner table, what y'all earned today.
yes. I was like, bruh.
He's just stunting on everybody.
I mean, it's true though.
Yeah. I was like, why are you stunting on us like this? We know.
Yeah.
I was like, some of y'all must have forgot who Will Smith was because
Yeah.
he wasn't playing with y'all today.
I'm gonna listen to that after.
But yeah,
this.
Yep.
number 5, Alan Menken, the cast of Aladdin, specifically Will Smith and Naomi Scott.
Yep.
Dallas, number 4.
Number 4. I have a lot to say about my number 4. My number 4 was also my number 4 for 2018. Yes, 2018.
Lord.
Chance the Rapper. So, Chance the Rapper put out an album called The Big Day, and
Was it about his wedding?
yes.
Oh.
First off, I want to acknowledge something that Colin said earlier about the notion of like, what is an artist if not at his best, at his darkest, something like that. And like that statement, so much of Chance's fan base is like, yo, when you were unhappy, your music was so much better. Like, go do drugs.
I don't like people
and
like
stop
that.
believing
That's
in God.
awful.
And it's just
Oh,
like,
God.
yo, you know, relax. This dude is in his 20s and he just got married and had a baby. Calm down. Here's the problem. His music did used to be better.
Damn it.
I still like his music.
That's what people
I like
say about
all
The
of it.
Weeknd, though, too. Like, when he gets into relationships, they're just like, oh, his music isn't going to slap
Yeah,
his
there's a
husband.
lot, and especially in the hip hop community, like rappers will, you know, get into a breakup or something, and then go like Joe Budden has a habit of this, like go make a mixtape and like I'm in this dark place and I'm rapping so good, and it's just like, yo, we can be happy. Like,
Yeah, let people be
Chance
happy.
Be happy. The Big Day did have to grow on me because I listened to it at first and I was like, all right, this is kind of hit and miss. I'm feeling it. Okay, I'm kind of feeling it. But like the more I thought about the project as a whole, this was made for me. I am a black Christian 90s baby who got married within the last couple of years.
Hey.
I just described Chance the Rapper. And like,
Yep.
I was watching one of the YouTube channels I watch, Dead End Hip Hop, and they're reviewing it. And they're like mostly older. And one of the dudes was like, yo, this isn't really my thing. Like, I'm sure there's someone out there who likes this like happy ass rap, as he called it. And I was like, yes, me. This was made for me. I'm happy. And I'm vibing to this 90s ass album. And it's just like,
That's how people feel about Will Smith, too, so.
yeah, and it's like this album, the way he frames it, it is way too long. I'll say that, but it feels like you're at a black family gathering.
Oh.
I have a similar album like that on my...
Oh, good.
No, not like in like it feels like a black... No, that's not
Yeah.
what that feels like.
Oh.
I mean, like, the person was clearly happy when they made this album.
Yeah,
And, like, I appreciate it more because they're happy when they made this album.
Is it Camila's album? Is it that one?
They're happy when they... We'll
we'll get to that. Gabby. We'll get to that. But yeah,
No,
like,
it's not. It's Taylor Swift's. Like,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. There are several people on my list who were just happy when they made their albums, damn it.
yeah, being happy is great, and Chance is happy, and I'm happy for him because he was in a very dark place when he made Acid Rap, which is a mixtape that I really, really love. But
Is that the one that everybody's like, "There's better"?
yes,
Probably.
but yo, this album, The Big Day, has Keith David, Cree Summer doing her voice from Rugrats.
Hey.
Has
Ooh.
Jackie Harry, who plays Lisa from Sister Sister.
Yes.
It has Randy Newman, and it has the late great John Witherspoon.
I should really listen to this album.
Honestly, like the voice of Goliath from Gargoyles, the granddad from the Boondocks, Randy freaking Newman's on this album.
Granted.
And that's just
wow.
like some of the cameos, like the people he got to feature on it. There were people I'd never heard of, but other people had. Like, I can't remember. There was one. Colin, who's the person that you knew on the album I didn't know? Who was
Ben Gibbard, I think.
Yeah, probably him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know who that is, but Colin knows him. Like, this album has appeal.
I mean, a lot of people know him. He's the lead singer of Death Cab.
Death
So-
Cab,
Oh,
that's
that's,
what it is.
who he is.
Okay, yeah,
I was like, I know that name. Where do I know that name from?
Thank you.
Oh, I love Death Cab for Cutie.
But yeah, and it's just like,
I'm not in that circle at all. I don't
Nor
fit in
am I.
that Venn diagram.
yeah. But that's the thing is like this album.
But everybody that Dallas mentioned, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Apparently, Colin and I have overlap.
that's good. You can stop clowning his music choices.
Hey.
But
She won't.
she won't. But like, there's so many things about this album that I hear and I'm just like, yeah, this was made for me. Like, he starts the first song and he says, one of the lines is, "I'm about to book a show at the Dimsdale Dimmadome."
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah. This album was made for me. He has a line where he says, Will Smith, Genie, Donald Glover, Lion King. And I'm like,
So
oh my
it's
God.
you. The
I
chance is you,
wrote
your
this.
chance.
Like,
I ghost wrote this.
yeah, like he has a video for a song called Hot Shower, and it has Kel Mitchell from Kenyon and Kel in it.
Yes.
And it has Jake Johnson in it.
Oh,
For, like, oh my God, I love it.
Jake Johnson. You mean Peter B.
Peter
Parker?
B. Parker, yes, I do. And it wasn't the only thing he put out this year, because he also put out a few songs, Atlanta House, Heaven Only Knows. My standouts, I have two. Rue from The Big Day with his brother, Taylor Bennett, which is about them being brothers and how much they love each other. And a song called Bad Idea, which is not his song, but he's featured on it. And it led me to one of my favorite albums of the year.
Ooh.
So that was dope.
He's also on the Lion King soundtrack.
Yes. Yes, he is. And he's in the movie. Yeah, that was so dope. But yeah, Chance is happy. I'm happy for him. Chance, I want to be friends because we are way too similar for us to not know each other.
Right?
Also, he's just doing great things for like,
Everybody, all the time.
yeah, he's just like helping kids in Chicago.
And he's not tied to a record label. He's doing all this on his
doing
own.
his thing. And he's married and has 2 kids and he's living his life.
So happy.
Shout out to Chance. Colin,
Number 4.
who's your number 4?
Me. Okay.
Is it you?
It is him.
You
No.
just said
You did
me.
say me.
That's fine.
I do that most of the time.
Okay, never mind.
He
But-
does. Colin, who's your number 4?
Anyway, my number 4 is Ben Platt. I listened to his album again a few days ago. It still makes me cry. And his concert basically left me incoherent. So, yeah,
Aw.
that was great. And he's great. And I want him to make more music and also do more like acting, but mostly his music because, ooh, it's good.
I'm glad
It's
that
real
he's
good.
getting noticed because I've been a fan of his since Pitch Perfect when he was in the first one
Same.
because he's adorable in that movie.
He was really cute.
Awkward and adorable.
When he sang I Got the Magic in Me, I was like, it's cute.
He's super cute and socially awkward in that movie. And his character ends up with Haley Steinfeld's character.
Oh, didn't know that because I didn't see the second movie.
That's a thing that happens.
Right?
Gabby, number 4.
My number 4 is Los Jonas Brothers.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, man, now I got to go back down to 6.
Yes.
Yeah. Joe.
Okay.
The Joe
so
Bros.
Here's the thing. We were teenagers when the Jonas Brothers were like enormous. I mean, they're big now, but
We were like preteens, teenagers.
no, we were
Yeah.
their age.
We were Nick's age,
we're
and
Nick's
Nick
age.
was a preteen.
Okay, so
Like,
whatever. We're
when
Nick's
year
age,
3000
guys.
was happening. He
Yeah.
was like 13.
So, but I was not
I
a
also-
fan of the Jonas Brothers.
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
No,
I liked the Jonas Brothers.
I
I had
didn't.
some of their songs, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, the Joe Bros. Oh my gosh. I
No,
was
no.
like that one
I
about-
totally missed that.
I
I
was-
didn't get it.
I was that way about Joe Jonas, but I was not that way about them.
No, I
as a
didn't like
group.
any of them. I didn't like the way that I didn't like their sound. I was like, no, they sound like they're trying to be punk, but Disney won't let them.
because I was teeny bopper pop trash.
That's fair. I was selectively teeny bopper trash. I was mostly trying to be punk rock, and my mom wouldn't let me.
But like, yeah, I think the Jonas Brothers was the beginning of me like sidestepping away from boy bands because their fans scared me.
yeah,
So, I was
It
like, I don't want to get involved in any of that.
It was
But-
intense.
Yeah, so when this album came out, I had to have several people, including you, be like, hey, this album's amazing. You need to listen to it. And so then I did.
You know what got me
finally.
to listen to their album was I really liked Joe Jonas's band DNCE, and I was like, oh, if he's doing similar to that, I'm gonna dig this new album.
Meanwhile, I was a big fan of Nick Jonas's solo career.
Yeah, so we were just coming from different parts of the Joe Bro solo careers. So I was like, and it just looked like they were having a lot of fun making the album.
I literally only listened to the album because everybody kept telling me to listen to it, including my cousin.
Yeah, no, it came up on my like Apple, like, hey, these guys released an album. And I was like, you know what? I am curious. I enjoyed that Sucker song
Yeah.
and I'm going to listen. And it's a really good album.
Bro,
it
is probably their best album. And I think that
I agree.
their relationships with their wives, specifically or especially Nick and Joe's relationships with their wives, because they are newly married, really made for like really inspired writing. Everything's really catchy. Everything is really well written.
I just like that they've grown as artists, and it shows in this album.
Yes.
And I should have seen them live when they were in town. I regret it because my supervisor went and he had a great time. And he was like, dude, they're great live. And like, obviously they're multi-instrumentalists, and they know how to put on a show. Yeah. So mostly I really like this album because of the different vibes. You've got like some R&B vibes. You've got oddly some reggae vibes in there.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, where did this come from? Just real poppy, like, what is it like? Because it's not just pop; it's like pop, like rock.
There's it's pop, but it's just infused with other genres.
Yeah.
My three standouts from this album is I Believe, Don't Throw It Away, and Strangers. Strangers I listen to probably way too often, but I love that song. Actually, before it was Strangers, I used to listen to I Believe way too often. Ooh. But yeah, I love those three songs. They're so great.
Since you did some, I'll do some of mine. My standouts were Sucker, Only Human, and I think it's called, come on, load. It's called Trust. Oh, that's a good one.
Is that the one that Joe wrote for Sophie?
I have no idea.
Which one is it on the album? What number is it?
I don't know. It's it's in the middle. It's
it's in the middle. Then never mind. I was thinking of something else then.
Yeah.
There's one that Joe wrote for Sophie that was almost in my standouts. It's a very, very good song.
Ooh. It's like, I don't trust myself when I'm with you.
Oh, nope. That's one of the fast-paced songs. No. I'm thinking of one of the slower, like.
Oh, okay, no. I like the poppy fast-paced ones because I like to like sing and dance in my car.
It really depends for me. It really, really, really does.
But yeah, I really dug that album. It made me a Jonas Brothers fan. I didn't consider myself one before because I thought that ship had sailed for me, but apparently not. So, yeah.
Hesitate. I think the song is called Hesitate. All right, so my number 4, it's funny because she's Joe Jonas's ex-girlfriend, Taylor Swift. There is a near 20 songs on her album Lover, and I like or love almost all of them. Taylor's weird. I realized this a few years ago. When Taylor releases singles, she never releases anything that is relatively close to being the best song on the album. Ever. Like, I'm always like, oh, this song is fun. This is good. But then she'll release the album, and I'm like, some of these are way better than the ones that you released. Like, what are we doing here? So she always just, her singles are always really geared towards the general public, which makes sense. That happened this time too. Like, I like Lover. I think Lover is really good, but I prefer the remixed version that she released with Shawn Mendes because that's really good. But this whole album, I think, just continues to show why Taylor endures as an artist, why people still like her, why she's still really popular. She's got great music. She's a fantastic songwriter. And I think her songwriting is really what's kept her career like pushing because she writes really relatable songs that people just like gravitate towards. They're just really, really good. Even songs that I'm like, oh, I'm not really a big fan of that one. I'm still like, well, it's a good song. You know, it's just not for me. I'm not feeling it, but like it's a good song. But yeah, there are 18 songs on this album. I had a difficult time choosing a standout 3 amongst those 18 because there's 18 of them. But I chose, my standouts are Cruel Summer, False God, and Afterglow. False God continuing to give us anthems that should be played in the bedroom.
Girl. No, I'm just kidding.
She had Dress last album, and then this album it was False God, and False God has like the saxophone, and I'm just like, Taylor talking about yes, exactly talking about religions in my hips. Girl, stop it. We out here. I get it. You 30. You can talk about sex now.
She's been talking about sex, but let's go.
No, she didn't really start until Reputation. Come on, it's Taylor Swift. Because when she released Dress, I was like, oh, we're going there now. Thank God we're finally here.
Girl, no, she was talking. Never mind. This one.
Dallas, number 3. We are top three.
Top three.
Funny
thing about my top 3, I didn't listen to any of these artists before last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they're all new-ish to me. Number 3 is Jaden
Smith?
Yes.
Yo.
Wow.
Jaden Smith.
Sire?
Yes. Jaden Christopher Sire Smith or something.
I'm just an icon living.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Man,
good song.
I wish that song came out in 2019.
So you could talk about it?
Yes, but I can't because it didn't. That came out in 2017 on Sire. This album's called Iris, and I had to look it up because it's spelled like Sire backwards.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's
It's got a Y.
ERYS. And I was like, what the hell does that say?
ERY. Oh, I thought it was Eris.
Yeah, because it says Eris, but it's I don't. It's
Okay,
He's a
I can see.
strange
I can
dude.
see how you can because I is EYE, so I can
Yeah.
see
why not?
how you would see because Iris.
Eyes. You see with your iris. Oh boy.
Sorry, that pun was just way too much.
There's
I'm
a lot.
sorry, guys.
But
I don't usually go there.
that's true. You're not really the.
I'm
the
not
pun
really good
person
at
in the group.
puns. I
So
don't do it.
Me either. I don't know
I
how
also
people do it. They're
I
so good.
usually also just like really shoot people off when they
Yeah,
do it.
you like roll your eyes at us when we do it. It's okay. Anyway,
It's because I can't do it, Dallas.
that's fair. Just hating. Going back to Sire, so that album started this like narrative that he had. Sire was a character, and this is kind of like a sequel. And I think the reason I like Jaden so much is because he is super creative.
He's also a very different rapper than his father.
Oh yeah,
He's what?
He's wilding.
He's a very different rapper than his
Oh,
father.
yeah.
They have
Yeah.
completely different rapping styles.
But it's cool.
Mhm. Yeah, like
It's good.
he's saying stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, your dad would never say that on the song. But yeah, so this is like a sequel, and I had to do weird chat room research to find out the hell he's talking about sometimes.
Oh.
And he has this like really really pink aesthetic that I kind of dig.
yes.
Yeah, and it's like a story of Iris, who is like the antithesis of Sire, and Sire's like this nice boy who, you know, you're just nice, and Iris is like this dude who's like wears pink and like a grill in his mouth and chains, and he's like really aggressive. And
But
I
he
guess,
wears pink. I respect it.
yo, he is all about the pink, just like Jaden.
He was like, he's going to be aggressive, but he wears pink.
You know who wears
I'm
a lot
about
of
that.
pink, actually? Jason Momoa.
Exactly.
I didn't
Like,
know that.
so much pink.
He does. That was good. Because I'm actually very fascinated, and I'm now thinking about listening to these two albums.
Yeah, I haven't listened to Sire all the way through, but I've listened to Iris, and to be honest, without his explanation, I probably wouldn't pick up on a lot of what he's talking about.
Is it like
No,
Lupe
no.
Fiasco in like the streets and who was his name? What's the name of that character? The one that like
Michael Young.
Yes, Michael Young and
rem-
stuff.
That's kind of.
The one,
But that was like a few songs on the cool. This is like I think most of the album, which also this album is long. So many people on my list, except for Rafa and Diggs,
Yeah.
shout out to them, have really long albums.
okay, but they could have been longer.
Yeah, I could have taken another few songs for
Like
7
3,
Nights in Chicago. Like
you know.
a balance, a nice balance.
Yeah.
I think
10,
more than 7,
12.
So like 12?
less than whatever the hell Iris has,
Well, so
and less than Chance the Rapper's
the way
album.
that you're describing this concept reminds me a lot of Justin Timberlake when he released the 2020 Experience,
Mhm.
because the first album of the 2020 Experience is supposed to be the bubblegum side of love.
Got it.
Very happy, sort of go lucky type of feel. And then he described the second album as being like, it's a whole darker side of like being into somebody. And I was like, all right, that's a
Sounds fun.
choice. Yeah.
Cool.
It's reminding me of that right now. And I loved that album. So
Yeah, I could see that because this is like the other side. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like rap really hard on this album. I'm like, good, because I didn't listen to most of Sire because you weren't doing that. But the kid has range. Let me get
Is-
back to my notes.
is Goku on Sire?
No, I don't know where that.
Is
song
Goku
comes
just
from.
a release that he just
It
put out?
might just
I
be a
really
song.
like Goku.
I don't know when it came out. If it
So
came out
many
in 2019.
weebos. No, I'm just kidding.
But
I mean, he likes Batman too, gosh.
yeah, he's just like a really
He's just nerdy.
creative nerd. But
That's fair.
creative
Goku's
to the
just
point
a
where
single.
he made a beat out of cutting his hair.
I remember
What?
that. You told me
Yes.
about that.
He got a haircut and like the sound of the clipper cutting his hair, he sampled it and he raps over it, and it's really freaking dope.
Wait,
like, I'll
What
play
is
it for
the
you
name
later.
of this song?
This song it's called K. It's just the letter K because the first 4 songs are P, I, N, and K,
Oh, okay.
and those are the standouts because it's like one long, like they're different songs, and you
Yeah.
can know where each one ends, but they kind of like fall into each other.
Okay.
So yeah, the standouts.
I love songs like that too.
Pink, yeah, and Sire starts with B, L, U, and E.
Oh.
That album starts with blue. This album starts with pink. He's really creative, and to be honest, when I listened to this album, it was like a lot of it's in my like Spotify's top songs of 2019 for you. You played this song a lot. I played the first like half of this album all the time, and didn't really play the second half much.
Because you got through the first half and we're like, all right, that's a lot of songs.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
done.
that's a lot of songs, and I got what I needed. But like that first half,
Keep going.
fuego. Like I love it. Enough for that. He's on my top 3.
Yo, he did a song with Trinidad James.
He did. Trinidad James, Tyler the Creator.
Yo.
His sister Willow's on the
Yeah, Willow.
album. ASAP Rocky's on the album.
Trinidad James always has a soft spot for me because She Ain't Fat, bruh.
Oh, I love that
She's
song.
just a little thick.
Hey. But yeah.
He did a song with Mystical. Okay, continue.
But yeah, Jaden's super creative, and he's part of my favorite Famous Family. And I want to be friends with him too. Now there's a theme in my list.
I have a friend from university who's, first off, a huge fan of, kind of like you, huge fan of him and that family. So, but she's met him before, and she's met the family before, because they live in Calabasas.
Right.
And so Jaden did a show out there, and so the whole family was there. So she went to see his show and met him and the family at the show.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I want to do.
Wow.
But
Ooh,
can't.
we got to drive out to Calabasas.
Let's find our way out there. Colin.
Number 3.
Number 3.
My number 3 is Kim Petras.
I know.
I
I've heard that name.
She's famous for a couple different things. First, for I think being the youngest person to ever undergo gender reassignment surgery. That was a while back. But now she makes music, and it's great.
Oh, yes. I know who this is. Yeah.
I feel like she is the epitome of like bubblegum pop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her songs are not deep at all. One
No.
of them, at the end, she literally, I don't know if she's calling the person in the song or herself stupid, but she just like, she finishes the song and then she just laughs and goes stupid. Like, I think she knows what she is.
She might
knows
be
who
calling
she
the
is.
song stupid.
She might, honestly, because her songs are not trying to have any depth to them, and it's great. Like, they're just banger after banger. And, like, she also released 2 albums this year. Well, technically, you could call it, like, 3, because she released Clarity, which was her first, like, album, and then she released Turn Off the Lights. But that was a 2-part album, the first half of which released in 2018, and then she released the second half in 2019, but as its own thing. So in total, she released like 30 new songs, something like.
Nice.
And it's great. Also, Turn Off the Lights is like Halloween themed,
Okay.
which is really cool.
Yeah, she's the one that sings about death by sex.
She does, and her songs about sex are the best songs she's got. They're so good. I don't know why she like goes especially hard on those. I guess she's just really passionate about sex, but
She goes hard at sex.
I guess she does. But like, oh, I love her music so much because it's great for like, you want something to like dance to, but you don't want to think about it at all.
Kim Petras.
Her music is fantastic for that.
It's a glowing recommendation.
Yeah. Because your music slaps.
Gabby, number 3.
So my number 3 is Casey Musgraves, who
Did she come out with music last year?
She
Wasn't Golden
did.
Hour like 2018?
It was. She came out with a Christmas album last year.
That's right. She did the
Oh.
Christmas special on
Yes.
Amazon. I still need to watch it because
Now I get
Camila
to talk
Cabello was
about
on it.
her. Yes. Oh my God. First of all, so her version of Feliz Navidad mixes some really. So I played it for my mom. My mom was like, "Are you sure this is a white woman singing?" because of the arrangement that she did. So she did this thing where she there's a harp that's used in like really traditional like Yucatan and like Central American music, and she uses that harp as
Listen.
part of the intro.
I'll give it to country music artists. They know their instruments.
They do. And specifically, she knew the style that she wanted to go for in the beginning of her cover of Feliz Navidad. But like nobody else really uses that sound except for people in Latin America. So my mom was
it's
like,
y'all song.
are you sure that this is a white woman? And I was like, yes, she got somebody really good to do her arrangement for her. She did some research. Yeah, and that's why this song feels like this, or like it sounds like this. But I was like, but this is a white lady. And my mom actually really liked that version, and she has a lot of respect. And I had a lot of respect for Casey Musgrave's version of that song too. And I really enjoyed her like Christmas program on Amazon. It was like amazing. So much glitter.
Yeah, I still got to watch her sing Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
It's great.
Camila
She
Cabello.
has a beautiful voice. And I was playing, I know this is from 2018, but I was playing Golden Hour just on repeat in my car all the time. She's got a really great voice. Ugh, I love it. And she knows what she is. Like she described what she wanted her Christmas show to be. She was like, I want it colorful, I want it glittery, and just like a little bit trashy, aka me. And I'm just like, oh girl, I get it. There was a lot of animal print. So much animal print. She's just great. I like her. And she reminds me of like young Cher too, like with the super long hair, like really really skinny and like outrageous costumes. Not as camp as Cher, but almost like close. No headpieces, which is disappointing. But yeah, she reminds me of young Cher.
Give her time.
Oh yes.
Yo,
Let her fully
guess
evolve.
what song Casey Musgraves is featured on? It's not from last year, but I have to point it out.
Mm-hmm.
Colin, can you guess? Moonshine. I was like, I know that name. Moonshine.
Oh, we gotta play Moonshine.
No, you
For
don't.
anybody that doesn't know us, Dallas, would you like to explain why we like this song so much as a group?
Slaps like this.
Also, it's written and performed by white people, but it has so much soul. Like,
Is that the toss a coin to your Witcher
I
of
feel
that
like
movie?
Yes.
Maybe we like it so much because it was attached to a mediocre movie.
Yeah, and
we
it's
watched the
such
movie
a
and we're
good
like, okay,
song.
that's cool. And
but
then the
that
song hit.
song.
I actually like
Moonshine's
that
great.
movie. And that song slaps regardless of if you like the movie or not.
It
And the best
does.
thing, because they're not just white. The guy singing that song is Irish.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it has soul.
Like,
He's singing about
from where
moonshine.
they make them.
Moving on to me.
Yes.
Whatever number we're on.
We're gonna.
3, I think.
We are moving far away from that.
She's on number 3.
I am on number 3. My number 3 is Machine Gun Kelly.
Ooh, I rode in a plane with him once. Yep.
So the first time I ever heard Machine Gun Kelly, my cousin was introducing me to his music because she was super into him. I was like visiting her in Atlanta, and she played this song, and I was like, "What is this and why?" And because it was Wild Boy.
That song goes hard.
And then I somehow ended up becoming a Machine Gun Kelly fan.
Rap Devil slaps, man.
Rap Devil does slap, bro. Fuck. I love Rap Devil, but that wasn't. I don't think that was 2019.
I think that was 2018.
I think that was 2018. No, he released an album last year called Hotel Diablo, and I played it on repeat during the 4th of July weekend because I had to take a flight, and I just played it all throughout that flight. And oh my gosh, that album is so good. It is probably his best album. He's so introspective on this album, and there's like a lot of talk about friends that he's lost, and there's talk about self-harm and depression and just wanting to get away. And I don't think we've ever seen Machine Gun Kelly get that in his feelings on an album.
Yeah.
At least not without, a bunch of anger involved. Some of these songs are just so sad, but like they're so it was the what is an artist if not at his best at his darkest.
That makes sense.
This album is fantastic, and like I'm sad that he's not getting any recognition for it because it's a brilliant album, and I love it. And Pete Davidson's on it. Weird.
Rapping?
I mean, they're
Not
best-
rapping. He's on. He's on it. He's on like an interlude, and
Got it.
he lets Pete be weird on the mic.
Dope.
He's doing like a Dracula impersonation or
Ah,
something.
that's what that thing is. I was just looking at the album and it says a message from the Count, and I'm like, I want
Yeah,
to
he's doing a Dracula impersonation. I was just like, oh my gosh. I love the fact that you guys are like really good friends, but you guys are also weird. But yeah, it's so weird. So the first song on the album, he doesn't rap on it actually. It's basically an interlude. It's called Sex Drive. And it basically just sounds like a darker version of the Stranger Theme song.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I
listened to this album because I posted a Facebook status like, hey, guys, what albums came out this year?
and I recommended it
And
to
you
you,
were
I
like,
think.
That one. I was like, I bet. So, yeah, I remember that strange interlude.
Yeah, it sounds like Stranger Things, but darker. And also, Cara Delevingne is on it, which is
I like her.
She's the one who says "Welcome to Hotel Diablo"
Ah, I got it.
because they're starring in a movie together. But yeah, it's just a fantastic album. But my standouts from that, because Sex Drive does not have any rapping on it, my standouts are I Think I'm Okay, Candy, and Hollywood Whore.
I knew you were going to say Hollywood Whore.
Yeah, it was actually. I'm gonna be honest. It was really difficult because I was like, there are a lot of really good. The album's got like what 14 songs on it. He doesn't rap on one of them. He doesn't rap on 2 of them because one of them is the Pete Davidson thing. Oh, he doesn't rap on 3 of them. Chuck Norris is also an interlude. So like he raps on like 11 of them, and all of them are. Actually, I probably should have said 536.66 because that one's really good.
I'm so dumb.
Giggling over there.
Giggling over there. Well, yeah, it's just it's such a good song though. Oh my gosh. But like also like I almost said El Diablo I really like El Diablo, and I like Floor 13 and Roulette because he's just going off on people.
Sounds like you have a lot of honorable mentions on your.
But no.
standout list.
But the three that I think I'm okay: Candy and Hollywood Horror.
Got it.
These are my like. If you want to try and get into this artist based off of the album that just came out, these are the songs that I'm recommending. And if you like them, go ahead and
I feel it.
listen to the artist. But yeah, that's my number 3, Machine Gun Kelly. Kells, MGK.
I like him. He smiled at me
MGK.
on the plane. I thought he was. I didn't know it was. I didn't realize it was Machine Gun Kelly until later. So I saw him and I was like, oh, I think I know him. So I smiled and he made eye contact with me and smiled back. And I think he was like, oh, she's my fan. And I was like, do I know him from high school?
Do you think it was Kenan?
No.
yes,
I did.
No,
but
that.
I would know Kenan anywhere, and I was with Eric, so there's no way that it was Kenan. He was also way too skinny. But
yeah, I was going to say. I'm sorry.
Way too skinny.
Yeah.
But I was like, do I know him? And then it wasn't until we were sitting down that I was like, that was Machine Gun Kelly.
Yep, Colson Baker in the flesh.
Oh God, he's such a
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, that's better. That's much better than Colson.
That was number 2.
My number 2 is Little Brother. Little Brother is
Crickets.
a rap duo from North Carolina.
Yeah, 2 words put together.
Yeah, right? Little Brother. It's funny. I was telling a coworker about this, a friend from work, and there's so many rappers with little in their name, but it's all L-I-L.
Yes.
This is little, the word
He's like,
spelled
no,
out.
no,
Wow.
Yeah.
little.
But we were also having a conversation at some point about bands and artists who have names that sound like one person. Like Pretty Ricky is a group of dudes.
Oh, yeah.
That should be one person.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
It's a group.
Whoops.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, Pretty Ricky's
Oh.
a singing group, but like, why is y'all named Pretty Ricky? Is one of y'all named Ricky? It's not important. Little Brother is actually 2 people. That should be one. Doesn't matter because they're dope. The Wikipedia page just says Little Brother is highly regarded among fans and critics.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know a lot about these dudes except that they rap very well, and they are from North Carolina. But their album, May the Lord Watch, it's really funny. It has a frame narrative concept of like a fictional TV network called UBN. UBN
UPN.
Network. It stands for You Black Niggas Network.
oh, okay.
And they poke fun at shows like sports shows, Eon Fix My Life.
It sounds like they're
Kinda
poking fun at BET.
Probably. Maybe a little bit of UPN too.
Is it like, remember the Montel?
No, it's like that episode
not
of
Montel.
Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't Montel. It was what was the name of the guy?
Montague?
Montague.
Yes. So like they have different ads for different shows. Like, you know how Dear White People made fun of Eon
Dear
Fix My
White
Life?
People. Yes, they do it.
They
every
do the same
season.
thing. They have a track called Deanna Changed My Life.
Oh no.
And he's like an angry black daddy. And his son. And he's like, I just want him to love me.
What is this album?
It's so ridiculous.
Is this an album or a TV show?
It's an album with a bunch of little interludes that are
God.
all hilarious. In between, they're rapping super well. But
That's super funny.
I definitely came back for the interludes a few times. It's like, will this family come back together or will it end disaster like the rest of her shows? They have a skit called Niggas Hollering.
Oh,
And that's their
goodness.
sports show, which is just a bunch of people arguing about basketball.
no.
Like, who's better, Michael Jordan or like Bill Walton? It's so ridiculous. And I've been listening to it, and they've been going from 2 to 1 on my list since like
Oh god.
I heard their album. And I was like, what standouts are there? Because there's some artists that they just rap really well, but I don't know how to pick certain songs out of a lineup. Like, you're rapping really well on all of these songs. I don't know which one to pick as my favorite. I landed on one called Sitting Alone because it features Open Your Eyes by Bobby Caldwell. I freaking love that song. And the second verse.
Who nobody knew was white.
Right? And the second
Caldwell.
verse.
Wait.
Yeah, it's like 4 events.
Baba Caldwell.
Bobby Caldwell is white. Yes, Kevin.
Have we not shown you the Kev on stage video?
We'll show you later. Every day someone finds out that Bobby Caldwell is white and he's been making music for like 30
Oh
years.
my God.
And he's like white.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Like, you remember Cody? He looks like Cody.
No, he doesn't.
I'm glad that
Long
we
hair and a
can.
hat.
Not look like Cody.
I'm glad we caught that reaction on.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, she was like, wait, what? Bobby Caldwell is white?
This is like my mom finding out not only is Stevie Wonder black, but he's also blind. Like, she didn't know. She didn't know what he looked like.
Did you think he was like a white man who could see or what?
No, because his music used to play in El Salvador, she just thought he was Latino.
Oh, I guess it makes sense.
That's fair. Tell us, what were you saying about that?
Okay. So the song Sitting Alone, Little Brother's a duo. There's two of them. So most of the songs are two verses.
Yeah.
And they kind of come from two separate perspectives. Like the first guy is rapping about how like he's on Instagram looking at other people having fun. He's like, man, I'm sitting alone at home. I wish I could be out there with y'all. Like I'm wearing envy tinted glasses, rocking envy goggles as he says it. And the second verse is about a dude who's sitting at home chilling, and his friend hits him up to celebrate his child graduating. Not with his child, but with his friend. And he sends him a flyer for a strip club. And it's so funny. I'm not going to do the whole verse because it's long, but like, so he describes getting the text and he's like, oh my God, I shouldn't do this. Like, I shouldn't go. This is going to be terrible. And he has a line where he says, pretend to be excited watching strippers diddy bop while you would rather be at home watching flip or flop. Because he's just like, and his whole verse is about like, oh my God, I'm too old to be out in this club right now. I just want to go home and watch HGTV. Like,
adulthood.
yeah.
And then the guy on the other song was like, man.
Yeah, yeah. And they're just like, man, I want to go
out
on IG. And he's just like, why am I
Take me
here?
home tonight.
But yeah, it's like the last few lines. Just, I took a flick and then I posted on my IG. Yeah, it looked good, but it was all lies like Firefest. Before you hang with anybody 25 or less, stay your ass at home and keep it low. That's what I suggest. Like, it's just going out and regretting it. And although I'm in my 20s, I'm definitely like,
Yes.
I'm that dude who like goes out and like, I want to go home. I'm tired. Like, why
I'm
are we
tired
here?
already.
Why are we in the club? I don't even like clubs. But yeah, that song really hit me in the soul. So that's one of the reasons that they're my number 2 of the year, because they're fantastic and they're really funny. And to me, I'm going to show you that interlude where they made fun of Beyond Changed My Life.
Oh, God. All right.
Colin.
Number 2.
My number 2 is All Time Low.
Oh.
And this is an interesting one because they released a re-recorded version of their album from 10 years ago. And like I was apprehensive about it because I've loved that album since it came out in 2009. And this new version is like, it is an improvement and it's not, which is interesting. Like the vocals are definitely better. You give the lead singer 10 years to get better at singing, and yeah, he's going to get better. And like he switches up some of the songs in little ways, like changing up a note here, adding a pause there. And it's really interesting to listen to these songs that I already know by heart and then hear how they're just slightly different.
Just slightly.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways better. I think like musically some of the songs hit a little less hard, probably because it's like a live recording in a studio and they don't have as much like studio production behind it.
Oh.
So yeah, it's, you know, it's kind of stripped in some ways and it doesn't hit as hard, but like, I don't know, like overall, I just feel like it's really cool that they re-recorded this album and re-released it and did just enough to different to like make it worth doing, you know? I'm still trying to figure out if I like this version better than the old one. Like I haven't listened to the old one again since this one came out because it's like, I feel like I shouldn't, you know, because they released a new one. But yeah, it also made me like the one song on the album that I never really cared about. So, you know, I'll give them that. In 10 years, I've never cared about that song, and now all of a sudden I do.
Doing stuff.
Nice.
Growth.
It's funny. Their drummer used to date Cassidy Pope.
That's not surprising. They feel like they would run in very similar circles.
Gabby, number 2.
My number 2 is somebody that you guys haven't heard of. Her name is Paquita del Barrio, and she is a Latin American legend, okay? Especially with like mariachi music.
She's not wrong. We'd have never heard of this person.
Exactly.
Sure.
I don't think she's released new music recently. I haven't looked it up, but I saw her at Tropicalia as well. Half the Latino, actually all the Latino artists except for like J Balvin and Bad Bunny on my list. I saw at Tropicalia, and that's why she's on my list. So she started off her set with, I was gonna cancel tonight because I'm a little bit sick, but I couldn't cancel. She's like, so if, you know, there's a little frog, or if like if I'm not up to speed, she's like, that's why I'm not, you know, I don't sound that great. And she sounded amazing either way. Like you couldn't tell that she was sick. She was amazing. She's a pro. Ugh, I adore her. And here's the thing about Paquita del Barrio. Someone hurt her, and she took the bitterness and the anger and she made songs that like, they're the songs that like when some you know,
Hey Dallas. Hey
when
Dallas.
someone hurt you and like broke up with you.
What is an
I
artist?
knew you were gonna-
If not at his best, at his darkest.
Right, but also like she like, how do I explain this? Like, okay, her most famous song is called Rata de dos patas, which translates to rat with two legs, with two feet.
What I say? What I say?
And it's about
What did
like
Rafa tell y'all?
it's basically like a you ain't shit, like you just a rat with two legs, you're a leech, you're a cockroach. Those are actually parts of the song.
Jesus.
It's beautiful. And this is who you, okay, so like this is the music you play when you just got broken up with and he was a no good piece of shit, and you're with your girls and you're having shots of tequila and you're ugly crying with the mascara and you're like, you know what? Play Rata de dos Patas. And also that song, they used it for a Narcos promo Netflix did. And when I saw that, first of all, they used Paquita, like the actual singer. She was in the promo. Like she came in, she like took some dude's gun, put it in ice. She like took down the picture of Pablo Escobar and like smashed it. And then she went up and she sang that song. And I was like, Netflix knows their audience. I must start watching Narcos now because they got Paquita and they got Paquita to sing the song. Anyway, she was amazing. She was wearing this like turquoise sequined thing and she had her like iconic like blonde shortcut hair that's like got a poof in the front and just like hands full of rings and just singing her heart out. And she's just a legend. She's a living legend. And I got to see her sing and I'm just, it was the best night. And the greatest thing is like, because all her songs are like, you ain't shit. Like all her famous songs are like, you ain't shit. Basically to whoever hurt her. A lot of the people around me as jokes, like anytime there was a pause in the song, they would like yell out like a phrase in Spanish about like a no good. So they'd be like
Oh Lord.
they'd be like, inútil and stuff like that. It was great. And inútil means worthless. Or like, yeah, it's kind of worthless. Or like not good at like your job. And she's great. She was amazing. And I have to put her top 2 because she's an icon. She's a Latin American icon.
Awesome. My number 2 is somebody who was actually number 1 from January to December. Don Richard.
January to December?
Yes.
Good.
January
And then they
to
got
December.
knocked
And then
out.
they got knocked out. Yeah. I've been a fan of Don Richard since I was in high school, or Dawn. She just kind of just goes by Dawn now. She's like one of the most underrated artists that I listen to. She's so unique. She's a talented singer and songwriter and dancer. Oh my gosh. One of the best dancers that you'll probably see in music right now. And she's so underrated. It sucks. Her choreography is ridiculous. I saw her do the heel toe in heels, like
Ooh.
stilettos.
What?
In stilettos.
Is that physically possible?
Yes,
Apparently it is.
It is. She did it. I watched the video and went, "How did you not break your ankles?" Because
Right?
it was magnificent.
Those
So
are
when
some strong
when I say she's one of the best dancers,
I haven't heard
Yeah.
of someone doing the heel toe in so long. So thank you for that.
It-
Because now I'm picturing it, but also in heels, and it's just it's a whole
but yeah,
thing.
she's also an amazing creative. She used to be in the girl group Danity Kane.
Yeah.
And first off, she came up with the name Danity Kane because she also draws. She's an artist, and she was doing a comic book, and the comic book superhero that she created was Danity Kane.
That's
and-
dope.
Yeah. So she actually has comics for Danity Kane, by the way. She's dope.
Nice.
But she's oh my gosh, she has such a stunning vision. Like it's like you were saying about Jaden Smith. Like she's an artist.
Yeah.
Like it's more than just, oh, I sing. Like, no, she's an artist. Like you look at her music videos and you're like, even if it's like a simple, like, oh, we're in a white room, but we're dancing. Like the dancing itself though is so complex and so well choreographed. Or if it's a video, she has a video where it's literally like a CGI, like warrior looking character walking across the surface of what looks like the sun.
Whoa.
Like just her artistry is so great. My favorite music video from her is a song called 86, which came out years ago. But 86 was about her time spent in Danity Kane and everything that's been going on until that time that she released that album. And the entire video is basically a metaphor for her life. And at the end of the video, like you see her in like warrior armor, and she's like going up a mountain, and you see that there is like a castle at the top of this mountain.
Mm-hmm.
She's just so artistic, and it's oh my gosh, it's so great. The album that she released though in January, it's called New Breed, and it's just a great meeting of her electronic and R&B sentiments, but also like there's like a lot of hip hop involved in there. There's a little bit of funk, like, you know, she's really good at kind of combining genres, and it's a wonderful ode to New Orleans, which I love, because even though I'm not from New Orleans, I have family that's from New Orleans. I go there every so often for, you know, family trips and stuff like that. I just went to a family reunion last year in New Orleans. So like, yeah, I love New Orleans. So I love that she's from there, and she's all about her hometown. And so this album is a lot about that. And there's also like, there's like this interesting aspect that she has where she includes information about Black Native Americans in New Orleans, which is really dope. So I love that. But other than the album, she also released 2 songs recently. She put one video out for them and made it a mashup. Gabby's gonna be mad as hell. But one of them is called Slim Thick, and the other one is called I Poppy. And those aren't on the album.
Dope.
But my standouts from the album, and these were my 3 favorites from the first time I ever heard the album, are Spaces, Dreams in Converse, and We Diamonds. So my number 2 is Dawn Richard, one of my favorite artists, just like ever, and she's one of the greatest artists, and nobody really knows who she is. Dallas, number 1.
Before we get to number 1, Gabby, if it makes you feel better, The Lonely Island put out a song last year called Daddy. So we're covering English and Spanish. Yeah.
I'm mad at both of you. No, I'm just kidding.
If it makes you actually
didn't
feel
do this.
better, the song Daddy's actually about
Their
a father.
dad.
Yeah.
I Poppy is not.
Was
I hope not.
it in the Oakland? What is
Yes.
that called?
It's called The Unauthorized Bash Brothers Experience, which I should have said
But
earlier.
her song has incredible choreography. So
Yes.
that's not the one with
Yeah,
the heel
that's
toe, though. I warned you.
Yes, you did.
Number 1.
Number 1. Guys, we made this number 1. Oh, my God.
Last
Can
one.
you do the-
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yes.
There we go.
I've been waiting for you to do it.
Sorry.
The
He's
whole
done it
time.
a couple of times.
He has?
Yeah.
She's done it a couple
I've
of
done
times.
it a couple
Have
times.
you not done it?
No,
don't
he
think I've
hasn't
done it
done it.
today.
He hasn't done it today.
I could have sworn you did it. Okay.
That's why I've
Saving
done
it
it,
for
because
number
I've
one.
been disappointed.
Number 1.
Number 1 is an artist that I doubt any of you have heard of. I didn't hear of until 2019. YBN Corday. Nope.
Who?
You look like you may have heard the name before. Jimmy.
Maybe? Wait, let me see it. Let me look at the name.
Can I see him?
Okay, no. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an origin story, which starts in 2018, but it's okay. It doesn't break any rules because this album came out this year.
Yeah.
Last year, which is why. So in 2018, gonna take you guys back. J. Cole, who was I think on my list for 2018,
Probably. I think it was.
he made a song called 1985, and it's kind of like a call out to a lot of the younger rappers. He's like, hey guys.
The mumble rappers.
Yeah. He's like, hey
That's
guys.
rude. Sorry. Continue. I just don't like. Never mind. Continue.
Well, here's the thing. One of them, I can't remember which one. Like one of the littles, probably Lil Pump. I don't know. They made a song where the song just says like FJ Cole over and over again. So I think it's like
Fine.
kind of a sneak diss to that dude in particular, but
Fine,
also like,
fine,
hey,
fine.
let me talk to you. And he gives it. It's like a message like, hey, let me give you some advice. Also, quit playing with my name. But also,
Put
like,
some
you know,
respect on my name.
he's like, yeah, you're like hot now, but these kids, they could get over you very fast. Like what you're doing isn't really, yeah. YBN Corday, who is 22, so he's one of the young dudes.
Yeah.
Young.
He responded on that beat with a song called Old Niggas. I had heard, like, after I listened to his album that came out in 2019, I heard about, I kept hearing about this song. It's like, I gotta check it out. And I was like, this is great. Because it's basically like, y'all do y'all, let us do us.
Yeah.
It's like partially there's room for everybody, and partially
Shut up, old man.
shut up, old nigga. Like,
Old man.
you sound like an old dude yelling about get off your lawn.
Yeah.
The best thing for me is that I found out about this song right after every old white director was talking about how Marvel movies aren't cinema.
Oh.
And I was like, yo, this is the anthem right now. Like, because it's basically like, yo, you guys are old, you do your thing. What we're doing has value as well.
Yeah.
but y'all be old over there and stop criticizing us. And I was like, yo, this is how I feel about Scorsese and
That's how I feel about
all of his
old people in general.
old dying friends. Also, going back to 2018, YB and Cordae's on the Spider-Verse soundtrack.
That's why I know the name.
Yes. So the song Elevate that plays during the credits.
Yeah.
There's a few rappers on it, and he's one of them. And I didn't know that until late 2019.
I was, because when you said it, I was like, that
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Because I was listening to it, and I was like, wait, YB and Cordae? I was like, oh my God.
Elevate.
Mm-hmm. He's one of those dudes. Anyway, back to 2019. He put out an album called The Lost Boy. It's just really good. And I found it. He's the one I found through Chance the Rapper. Because the song Bad Idea features Chance the Rapper. And it's one of the standouts. The other one being RMP featuring Anderson .Paak.
He's
And
huge right now.
yeah, like this dude is doing his thing. And the RMP video, first off, it's hilarious. It has Hannibal Buress in it.
Yes. Sorry.
And the Jabberwockies did a dance video to it.
What?
I didn't even know they were still doing stuff.
Right? Right?
One day, I just saw a
I
video.
think they have a show in Vegas.
That's
Oh,
dope.
they do.
I
Oh,
would
they
love to
have
see it.
like a thing at the Universal Studios too.
Yo, because I was like scrolling through YouTube and it said like RMP. And I was like, I like that song. It said, I was like, the Jabberwockies? And they did a whole thing dancing to the song. I was like, that's just another reason why he has to be on my list.
Yo, I gave you a Jabberwocky shirt for your birthday one year.
I remember that.
And you had that shirt for the longest
I did.
time.
It was light blue and had black, gray, and white letters. It was dope.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Because the Jabberwockies are dope.
They are dope. And so is Gabby for giving me that shirt. He's an interesting case, this rapper, because he's young and he has a lot of songs that sound like a young dude. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I was
mumble
broke.
rap.
Now I'm not. But he's not a mumble rapper. Like, he has songs about family issues. Like, he has a song called Family Business? No, not that. Family Matters. And it's about...
Does it sample the Family Matters theme song?
No,
I'm
you
just
would think,
kidding.
but it doesn't. And it's like...
Missed opportunity.
really introspective. Like that's one of the things people are saying about this rapper a lot is that, yo, you're like barely 22 and you're coming from a place that is very introspective. He has a song called 1,000 Words and he talks about a picture's worth 1,000 words and how it's just, you know, everyone's obsessed with each other on Instagram and it's like you don't need to attach your value to followers and all that stuff. And then back to Family Matters. It's like he's, you know, following his dream, doing his thing. Meanwhile, his family is going through all these things, like his uncles and his aunts, cousins, all that stuff is going through all this stuff. And he wants to help them, but they're not telling him their issues because they're like, we don't want to distract you. You're doing your thing. You're being successful. Go follow your dream. We'll handle this. And he's just like, I can help you. I have money now. Like,
Yeah.
and they're just like suffering in silence. And it's like, oh my God, that song really hits. Also, he has a song called Thanksgiving. I have a personal vendetta with people who play Christmas music at 12:01 a.m. November 1st as soon as Halloween is over.
Listen, we're sitting at a table with two people who tried it. I waited until after Thanksgiving was over.
Thank you to me.
I never do. I love Christmas
And
and,
that's
I
fair.
don't like Thanksgiving. Or
Before-
that's not true. I like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, whatever. Before 2019, I didn't have a Thanksgiving song. Now I have a song literally called Thanksgiving that I can play all through November until
Along
y'all
with the
start playing.
greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes.
Exactly.
That's
yes.
a song. That's a Thanksgiving song.
Yeah, we have.
Exactly.
Now we have two.
We have two.
And it's just like describing a black family Thanksgiving. Like, you know, grandma's cooking cornbread, brought my girl over.
Ain't nobody eating until 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Remember when you guys found out that my Thanksgiving meal is basically a black Thanksgiving meal?
We found out so many things about each other over the years. Lovely.
You were like, what do you guys serve? Do you guys serve tamales? And I'm like, nah, we have greens, beans.
Green beans, potatoes, tomatoes.
I was like, my
Yeah,
cousin
pales.
brings like greens, and you're like, you have somebody that knows how to make greens in your family.
That is surprising. It's like finding out Bobby Caldwell's wife.
Yep.
Oh, man.
But yeah, this dude is dope. And fun fact, which has nothing to do with his musical ability, he's dating Naomi Osaka.
I know that name.
Yes, you do. The Haitian-Japanese tennis player who just beat
Yeah.
Serena
Oh
Williams.
my God.
Yeah. And apparently became the first Japanese player to win a Grand Slam singles title.
Yeah.
So shout out
She's
to her.
won 2 now.
Yes, she did.
I keep up with tennis.
She's
I know. That's
dope.
why I was surprised you took so long to react to her name. And I am somewhere down the line, ethnically Haitian. So her success just makes me happy.
Oh,
No.
really?
Now we
He
have a
said
famous,
somewhere down the line.
like distant, like Taylor Lautner is distantly Native American.
Stop it.
Or
That is
like,
an inside joke between us.
right?
But yeah, I was like, oh snap, she's dope, he's dope, they're dating each other, that's dope.
That's
But
how
yeah,
I feel
he's
about
awesome,
people. Yeah.
and I'm
That's
gonna
really sweet.
keep on listening to him
Yeah.
forever. Colin, who's your number one?
Oh boy. I don't know why I'm like I don't know the answer because my number one has been on the list since I found out they were coming out with an album this year and has never changed. The rest of the list was really hard, but number one was easy. My number one is Marianas Trench because I love them so much. They're
No, I've heard of them.
I
I've
love their
never heard of
music.
them. What
it's
are they?
like they're a Canadian like I guess pop rock band is the I don't know music genres, but
Okay.
we'll call it that. And like they also do some really like theatrical stuff, like orchestral stuff in their music that's really cool. And one of the things that they do that I really like is like all of their albums will feature like pieces of their previous albums because like someone asked the lead singer about it and he was like, yeah, I want us to have a body of work that when we're done it feels like everything connects. And so like there'll be certain songs that'll have like certain notes or certain melodies. I'm like, oh, that's referencing that song from the previous album. Or like they'll use the lyrics again and that's really cool.
I like that because
Okay.
I like that. Taylor Swift does something kind of similar on Lover where she kind of references old lyrics but in a way that shows how she's grown as a person. So yeah, that's dope. I like when artists reference them, not like in a cocky sort of way, but in
Right.
a way that's just like, no, like we've grown or like this is, yeah.
Kind of feels like Easter eggs in a movie almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything connects.
Also, like their albums, I don't know about their first like two, but the recent albums have like had themes. So like the last one was about like 80s movies and 80s music, and that was cool. It had a few too many interludes for me, but this one is themed around like a haunted house, but also the dissolution of a relationship, I guess, while also in a haunted house. And so they do really cool stuff with like freaky sound effects.
Haunted relationships, y'all.
Yeah, it's really cool. And man, their lead singer can hit some notes.
Hit them notes.
Which is especially impressive because I went to see them in concert last year and they were amazing. And that was cool because the lead singer came out and he was like, yeah, so I'm having issues with my throat. So like, I'm not going to be able to do as much as I usually do. I couldn't tell a difference.
So like me and Paquita.
Yeah. This is really impressive given that you're having throat issues and he has to, you know, hit some like really hard notes or like sustain them for really long or hit really high notes. And it's like, this is probably making your throat stuff worse, but you're still doing it. And it's really great. The only thing I didn't like about that concert was that their most recent album has 10 tracks on it and they played all of them but my favorite.
Oh,
no.
that's me.
That's the worst.
They were like,
Yeah.
Colin's coming, cut the song. I'm just kidding.
It's like it was fine. I still loved that concert because I knew like every song they played and they were all great. But it was just like, really?
That's
You're gonna
real?
play
That's
9 out of 10
disappointing.
For real?
tracks.
For real.
9 out of 10, and you're not gonna play. Well, I guess they didn't play the first one, but the first one's kind of like just an intro, so that's fine. But like, okay, that's fine.
That's rude.
But yeah, I love their music so much. I have loved their music since I first found them a few years ago, and oh god, every time they come out with something new, I'm just so excited, and this was no exception. I love it so much, and like I also like this one especially because like their last album I liked, but it was really long and there were some interludes, and I was just like, okay, you're doing a little too much. This one is like they're 10 tracks, sort of is circular, like the ending reflects the beginning. There's obviously they were planning out how this was going to go, and all of the songs I really, 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 really like. So it just feels like a more complete package, I guess.
We were giving Colin a lot of shit about the people on his list earlier, but I just want to say that Colin has introduced me to like some of my favorite albums. Like he introduced me to the Saturdays, who I'd never heard of.
Oh,
The Saturdays slap. And he also introduced me to Razia Shadow by
That is
Forgive
true.
Jordan.
I did that.
And I do love that album. It is still on my phone,
did
and
do
it
that.
stays on my phone.
It's good.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Gabby, number 1.
Yay! Okay, so my number one, I also saw her at Tropicalia. It's Natalia Lafourcade. And you guys know Natalia Lafourcade because she did the pop version of Remember Me from Coco.
Oh.
Yeah, so you've heard her voice.
She was like, you guys know her. I was like, we do.
You do.
I mean, I think you've also like played her music for me in your car, but
I
like,
have. I've played her music for you in my car. So the reason she's on my list is because I saw her live and it was amazing. Oh my God.
But did she sing Remember Me? No, I'm kidding.
She did not.
Would she be
And
allowed
I
to
didn't
legally?
want her to because I wanted her to play like specific songs, and she played all of the songs that I loved. Her most famous album is one that came out in 2015, and that's the one that I had been playing on repeat. It's like very alternative, and I love it. And the song, what happened was a classic cumbia band took one of the songs from that album that was popular and they made it into a cumbia song, so it sounds completely different, and it's like a huge hit in Latin America. Like, people know her from that cumbia cover of her song, and sometimes they don't even realize that that's not the original version of the song. Like, they're like, what do you mean it wasn't always a cumbia? And I'm like, no, it was like this like alternative rock song about a girl crying over a dude, and because like the cumbia band that like hadn't really released like a hit like that since like the 90s put out this cover of her song, and she's like singing the cover with them. They just like did the arrangement. They hadn't put out like a hit like this since the 90s, and like people were like lost their minds. Like, my cousins will like, or like my whole family is like, if this song comes on, everybody's like, yes, let's go. It's called Nunca es Suficiente. And so that's the song that she closed with, because it's like her biggest hit in Latin America. My favorite song of hers is Hasta la Raíz, which she played, and I was like, oh my God. And then she did a bunch of other of her songs that I like too. But from that album that she put out in 2005 that I love, Hasta la Raíz and Y Nunca es Suficiente are like great. And then I also like, where is it?
What does Gabby like?
This is why we write
You know
notes.
what? I'm not gonna bother right now. But like, if most people know her because she did the Spanish version of Recuérdame with Jordan Fisher, like the duet.
Not
And she
Jordan
sang up
Fisher. Hold up.
It wasn't Jordan.
Jordan Fisher's not on that album.
He's not.
He's on Moana.
Oh, it was Moana. Sorry. Who is it? Never mind. I'll find it.
I'll
later.
find it.
Miguel, I think. Yeah, it's Miguel. And she sang at the Oscars like 2 years ago.
Dope.
I love her. She's magical. She was so great live. She played the guitar. She played a bunch of songs. She showed up like 15 minutes late to her set though, and I missed the beginning of Zoe, but I forgive her because her set was amazing. And yeah, Natalia Lafourcade.
I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, but this is the longest I'm going to spend speaking about a musical artist. My number one is so predictable that a coworker of ours guessed who it was when we told her that we were going to do this podcast. My number one is Camila Cabello.
Was that coworker the same one who you said you spent like hours listening to the album
No.
with upstairs?
No.
Oh, no.
Completely separate person.
Wow.
Completely separate person.
Although this
Oh,
is the same coworker who asked me when I said little brother if it's like Lil, like L-I-L. I was like, no, little, like the word little.
Yeah. Shout out.
dope.
Yeah, she's dope, bro.
Shout out to Leanne. You're awesome.
But yeah, so Camila spent half a year working her way up my list, starting in May. She started the year off with a really sick Grammys performance, and she's the first Latina to ever open the Grammys.
Wow.
For real?
She was. And her performance of Havana and then her bringing out J Balvin and Ricky Martin was incredible.
But there's so many of us that are so great. Like, really? She's the first
She's the first.
That's how I felt when Jordan Peele won that screenwriting. There's so many of us that are so great.
Yeah. But she performed Havana, so obviously you can't get on my list for that. But she released several collaborations in the summer that just kept getting better with each one. Find You Again with Mark Ronson, Señorita with her current boyfriend Shawn Mendes, and South of the Border with Ed Sheeran and Cardi B. At that point, she was at number 6. In September, she released Shameless and Liar, which are the first 2 singles from the album that she just released, Romance. And I thought she was going to release the album in January. And I was like, cool, she'll just be on my 2020 list.
Right.
No big deal. It'll be fine. But I remember specifically telling Dallas, if she releases an album this year, she's immediately going to number 1 on my list. So she released Shameless and Liar. And then she released Cry For Me. And then she released Easy. And then she released Living Proof. And then she announced her album release was in December. And I was like, oh, God. Okay. Well, here we are now.
Surprise.
At that moment, she dethroned Dawn, who had been number 1 since January.
Ah, got it.
And also this year, she did a live set in LA, like a secret show, shortly before, actually I think it was before the album came out, that was released on Apple Music and on iTunes. And literally the only thing better than studio recorded Camila Cabello is live Camila Cabello, because I've seen her live. Oh my gosh. Listening to that EP, whatever you want to call it. Oh my gosh. I love the way that she changes her musical arrangements when she does things live. That was probably my favorite rendition of Never Be the Same that she's ever done. But her album, Romance, definitely just a show of growth in her as a songwriter, but also as a person. One of the things that she said about her first album was that a lot of those songs were, when she wrote them, they were based off of not experience, but based off of like fantasy scenarios that she would come up with in her head, which, you know, I understand that. I feel that. But when you listen to Romance, there is a difference, and you can hear it in her songwriting. It suddenly is grounded in reality. You can tell that there is experience behind these songs, and every single one of them is fantastic. The theme of the album is obviously romance. It's the name of the song, name of the album. And I feel like this album is a wonderful expression of that. It kind of makes you either want to fall in love, or if you're already in love, you probably relate to a lot of these songs that she's releasing. But even then, she also has songs like, she has a song called Bad Kind of Butterflies, which is a song about telling the person that you're dating that you're in love with somebody else.
Ooh.
And a song called First Man, which is, usually when I listen to this album, I don't skip anything because it's really hard, because I'm like, oh my gosh, all these songs are great.
Yeah.
But I've started skipping First Man just so I don't cry every time I listen to the album, because it's a song about her father.
Ooh.
And her talking to her dad about like, here's the guy that I'm dating and I really love him, but you were the first man in my life and you made it possible for me to be loved by somebody else.
Aww.
That's sweet.
Because you're the first person who loved me. It is just like, I can't do this every time. I just can't. Listen, as somebody who is a daddy's girl, I can't do it every time. It's a lot. But I've already established that is definitely the song I'm playing at my wedding.
Sweet.
Her songwriting choices are great for someone so young. I am actually I'm on brand right now because I'm wearing a hoodie that I bought from her pop-up shop, but I'm also wearing the tour t-shirt I bought when I went to see her on tour in like 2018.
Also, I was going to say, you've been wearing that hoodie so much that, like, of course
you wouldn't
Leah
be able
knew.
to tell. Yeah, but I have the tour t-shirt on underneath it too. But on the sweatshirt on the sleeve, it says, always thought I was hard to love, which is the lyrics from Easy. And I love Easy because Easy starts out, Easy is one of those songs where you start the song and you're like, where is this going? Because the first verse is, you tell me that I'm complicated, and that might be an understatement. Anything else? You tell me that I'm indecisive, fickle, but I try to hide it. Anything else? You tell me that I overthink till I ruin a good thing. Anything else? And then it kind of flips it because it goes, you tell me that you'd rather fight than spend a single peaceful night with somebody else. And the entire song is about basically this person loves her so much that they make it seem so easy to love her, even though she has all these flaws and she has all these insecurities, but this person still loves her all the same.
Nice.
And I just love that she kind of flips it. Like, it starts out like, you're like, why are you with this person?
Yeah.
This sounds awful. But then she's like, no, but you love me regardless of these problems.
It's like Fixer Upper, but not terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also it's one of
a
the
little bit of a fixer.
Easy is one of those songs that I'm just like, it's such an epic song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so atmospheric. It's got like this feeling to it where like I listened to it and for the first time and I was just like, oh my gosh, like if you put this on the credits of a movie, it would be insanely good. Like, such a good song. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love her music videos. They're so creative and they're always really different from one another. Her music video concepts, her performance concepts even are always really interesting. Her vocals are always on point. Dancing, her choreographers, like, shout out to them, Calvit and Sarah, bruh, they're dope. But yeah, every song is so good that I literally haven't pinpointed what my favorite song is on the album. So doing the standouts list was really, really hard. But I tried. I did it. I chose 3. I really wanted to choose Shameless and I couldn't, but I chose My Oh My, which is probably going to be her next radio
Oh my god,
hit.
with the baby. Great.
Yes,
song.
with the baby. So good. It's such a good song, and if you listen to it, please go watch her Jimmy Fallon performance because
so good.
My gosh, the
Oh my
choreography
God.
on that
Yes.
was sickening.
Wow.
But also the cheerleader jock
Yes.
like
Yes.
concept
Mhm.
and aesthetic, so good.
Yes.
Loved it. The green and the blue, so good.
It was the costumes. It was amazing.
Easy. I had to choose Easy because I spent so much time talking about the songwriting of that song. I love that song. And then she has a song called Used to This, which it has a very specific story to it, which literally all of her fans know, and we shouldn't, but we do. But it feels relatable enough and general enough that anybody could relate to it. But basically it's about when you've been friends with somebody for a long time and you decide to take that next step and be in a relationship with that person, and you're kind of like, yeah, I could get used to this. And it's such an atmospheric song.
Been there.
It is. It's such an atmospheric song, and it's just so good. I love it so much. I know when I go to this tour next year, which is why she's going to be on my list for 2020 as well. I'm already prepared for it. I know it. But when I go to that tour, I'm just like, her live performance of it is on that EP too. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, she performs this so well. And the first time I heard that song, I nearly cried too, like the studio recorded. And then the live version, I was like, oh, this is so good. And I was like, oh man, she's going to get me to cry when I go see her at this show this time. I didn't cry at the first one, but this one I'm like, oh man. Watching artists grow up, it's great. This was the artist who was like, yeah, you're happy, but this is a good album because you're happy, and I'm glad that you're happy.
Yeah,
I'm
being
happy
is good.
I'm happy for you being happy. So my number one is Camila Cabello. She is currently nominated for a Grammy. Let's get this. Woo! And that's a wrap for us today, guys. Our favorite music artists of 2019, and we're starting to begin our favorite music artists of 2020 because the year has already begun.
Yes, it has. It's January.
People are releasing music.
Thank you, audience, for listening to us, as always. Let us know who your favorite music people were this last year. Thank you to Crown Digital, Brandon, and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But you should be watching this on YouTube so you can see all the pictures of all the people that you've never heard of.
Or you guys should just go look them up on Spotify.
That, too. Find their music. It's good. We all say that.
See.
Thank you to me for editing and being at least relatively patient as we try to wrangle our schedules to record these recaps.
I try, but we have a time constraint.
Yes. Thank you, Colin, for not getting up and leaving every time we made fun of your music list.
I'm so sorry.
It was tempting.
Mostly
I'm
Gabby.
really, really sorry.
Yeah, the second time you were like, just move on, I thought you were going to leave. I was like, ooh.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
My first thought was like, oh, no. My second thought was, maybe this episode will be shorter.
It almost was.
Was last episode shorter because I wasn't there?
Surprisingly, no.
No.
So nothing we do could make these shorter.
It's like a black hole. We're just stuck.
We sit down and record a recap. It's 2 hours minimum.
Oh.
Thank you, Gabby, for waiting to eat your loud-ass food.
Oh, yeah. It's
Because
cold
when we
now,
did this
but
last
it's
year,
okay.
you sure didn't.
I
Also,
did not.
Thank you for the Jabberwocky shirt
You're
in
welcome.
high school.
From when we were children.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, like, share, subscribe, etc. You can find us all on Twitter at y'all_different, on Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, on Facebook, just search for Creative Differences. You can find me at a king named Simba because I love the Lion King, as I've been talking about.
He's
For the past 5
literally
days.
wearing a Lion King shirt.
That's
right
You know
true.
what? You're
Almost
not wrong.
always.
For the last 4 days.
Yeah, like anytime I can work it into one of these
Yeah.
recaps, I did.
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
You can find me, Gabby, on Instagram at Stegosaurus.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. It's spelled DREEMI. I wish I was sorry for all the Camila Cabello content I post on there, but I'm not.
That's the way to do that. All right.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
sorry about all the Disneyland posts that I do.
And I'm just not sorry for anything. Colin, what are you not sorry for?
Uh,
That's what I figured. All right.
Stay tuned tomorrow. We're going to have our most anticipated movies of 2020. So looking to the future instead of looking to the past.
Yes.
The final episode of this yearly recap.
All right, y'all. It's been different.
Bye.